Trey Tracks, I think we got one.
It's voting season, bruh.
No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking. BLK app looking for some action. Swear the homie Scott was heavy. Face is a 9, abs a 10, D is a to be determined. He got mad jokes, he don't seem broke. The only red flag, he said he don't vote. This midterms for all the single cute. Wanna hit this booty, gotta do your civic duty. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking, no voting, no fucking.
Yeah, don't stop now. Stop my ballot box again. But my homegirl through. Put the buying partisan. Politics be so nasty. Make me wanna flirt ya. Show you how to be a poll worker. Legs in the air, I don't care. Anyone could get it. Universal health care. If you wanna come before the deadline. Come in the jacuzzi, gerrymander this coochie.
No voting, no love. No voting, no touch. No voting, no nothing. Can't let me down. Gotta stand up for something. No voting, no love. No voting, no touch. No voting, no nothing. BLK, we gon' stand up for something. Yeah, that's right. No voting, no love. If the coochie is the goal, go hit the pose. Period.
We're using
Peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope your Monday is off to a great start. Hope your new week is off to a great start. We're going to have an important conversation today, and this is in response to my brother's video, O'Shea Du Jackson from Sacramento, California, my hometown. Now O'Shea's a little bit slow because he's from Northern Sac. I'm from South Sac. He's from North Sac, and he went to Grant High School. So he's a little slow, but it's okay. It's okay. The brother is successful. He's doing his thing in Uganda. I think he's in Kenya now. Actually, I think he moved to Kenya. I'm not sure, but we're gonna do a response to his video. Chicago immigrants are forcing African Americans to do this, and I'm saying it's laughable. And it's laughable because this is what Black folks voted for. This is what you guys voted for. I do not want to hear, if you voted for Sleepy Joe Biden, again, if you voted for Sleepy Joe Biden, I don't want you complaining about ne'er immigrant. I don't want you complaining about Governor Abbott busing immigrants to your city, to the Black community. I don't want to hear it. This is what you guys voted for. I fully support Governor Abbott and what he's doing. You guys are sanctuary cities. When I told you, see, this is the problem. This is the problem right here. So I'm from California. What's going on in Chicago, what's happening in New York, what's happening, well, specifically Chicago. We're going to stay on Chicago right now. I told you guys years ago that this was going to happen because it's been happening in California. But I'm going to tell you what the issue is. See, Black people east of the Rocky Mountains, for some reason, you think you are a protected class. Again, Black folks east of the Rocky Mountains, or we'll say Mississippi River, or really Rocky Mountains. You guys think you are a protected class. Well, Chicago, a Black city. Atlanta, a Black city. We run it. It's a Black city. See, Black folks got all the jobs and the government jobs here in D.C. and Chicago. It's a black city. We run it. We run this town. We run it. Now you're getting your wake-up call because you guys thought that you were a protected class. So Governor Abbott is doing an excellent job. Governor Abbott keep gassing up them Greyhound buses. Continue to gas up them Greyhound buses and ship them to Chicago and New York. Because this is what black folks wanted. This is what black folks voted for. All you wanted was to get rid of the orange man. Orange man is gone. But he's probably coming back. There's a very, very strong chance that the orange man is coming back. Let's jump into O'Shea's video. Hold on one second. Let me adjust this a little bit. Here we go. Okay, what's too late? I'll forget it. Let's jump into O'Shea's video. Hold on one second. Hey, O'Shea, this is fair use. O'Shea, this is fair use.
Hi, everybody.
Nah.
Do the commercial.
Let's have some fun tonight.
With Welling Outlet, fly for even less and go out in Barcelona, London, Paris, the Canaries.
In Chicago, last thing you want is your tax dollars going to immigrants who never helped create those tax dollars. Let's face it, nobody likes the whole conversation of immigration. And if you're a citizen of a country, the last thing you want is your tax dollars going to immigrants who never helped create those tax.
Let me stop you right there, O'Shea. Let me stop you right there. Let me interject. Sleepy Joe Biden said his top two priorities were immigration and LGBTQRS, the alphabets. The alphabet. That's what Joe Biden said. He said those were his top two priorities. So no, I disagree. Black folks want their tax dollars going to immigrants who have not put in their fair share. That's what they want. That's what they voted for. That's what Joe Biden said was one of his top two priorities. Immigration. Right here. You got it right here. In yellow and black. That's what black folks said they wanted. Joe Biden came out and said, listen, immigration and the alphabet, those are my two top priorities. And black folks said, as long as we get rid of the orange man, okay, no problem. So yes, black folks agreed to have their tax dollars go towards a class of people who have not put in their fair share here in America. Let's continue.
Dollars. That's just the plain truth. We all know it. We all know what it's about. However, immigration is starting to hurt African Americans all over the country. But I want to talk about two cities in particular.
In 2019, when during the 2020 election cycle, 2019, I told black folks that this was going to be an issue. Black folks said that they're voting for Biden because they want to get rid of the orange man and that they'll be able to control Joe Biden. This is what black people were telling me. Black people were telling me that once they get Biden in office, they'll be able to hold him accountable. How's that working out? How's the accountability piece working out right now? Guys, hit the like button. If you have not hit the like button, please hit that like button. Someone explain to me how the accountability piece is working right now. Reezy 37. Claude Anderson talked about the dangers of bringing these non-black immigrants to the country. Black people don't want to listen to Claude Anderson. They don't want to listen to Louis Farrakhan. They want to listen to Obama and Biden. That's who they want to listen to. Claude Anderson is done with y'all. And in fact, to the point, literally, there were black people who were criticizing Claude Anderson in regards to his, what's his accomplishments and what he's actually done. Black folks didn't want to listen to Claude Anderson. They want to listen to Obama and Biden and whatever else is on CNN and MSNBC. Black folks would rather listen to Joy Reid than Claude Anderson. Let me repeat, guys. Black folks were criticizing and questioning Claude Anderson's credentials, saying he's not real, in exchange for Joy Reid, Angela Rye. This is who black folks are listening to. Let's continue.
One is Chicago with Mayor Brandon Johnson. He's even a worse mayor than the incompetent Lori Lightfoot.
Who voted for him? O'Shea said that Brandon Johnson is more incompetent than Lori Lightfoot. But who voted for him? Who voted for him? That's why I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Let's continue.
And you know what? People were glad to get rid of her, but boy, are they crying to have her back. And yes, Brandon Johnson is that bad. But however, he made some promises to Chicago to get things on the right track, only to be elected and then start doing what he's doing now. And just like in New York,
I'm curious to know what the promises were. Anybody from Chicago in the chat? What were these actual promises that Brandon Johnson made to get into office? Well, anyways, black folks are used to politicians lying to them anyway. So the promises don't matter. It's vote blue no matter who. Again, it's vote blue no matter who. So it don't matter what Brandon Johnson was promising to get in office. That's the expectation. Just lie to black folks, you'll get the vote. You'll get the vote anyway. They're gonna vote for you anyway.
New York City with Mayor Eric Adams, we've seen over 150,000 immigrants coming into the city. The state of New York spending so much money on homeless shelters, and it's cost the city or the state of New York over $2 billion in that time. And now in Chicago, Brandon Johnson is saying, hey, listen, we need maybe $200 million or more. And now the city is even being stressed. So what does that mean? It means less resources for African Americans who have been living in Chicago for so long. And remember,
y'all don't want the resources. African Americans don't want resources. We wanted to get rid of the orange man. Remember in 2012. Oh, let me adjust my camera. It's kind of good. Let me adjust this camera real quick. Just a little bit more. Here we go. Okay, let me give it a wipe down real quick. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Remember in 2012. All right, 2012. There were a group of black people who were loud saying, what is Barack Obama going to do specifically for black folks? I was one of them. I voted in 2008. I voted for Obama. You know, when Obama was in Chicago, he made his speech at Lake Michigan or whatever the lake is in Chicago. I was crying too. Listen, when Obama got elected, I shed a tear. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be vulnerable with you guys right now. I shedded a tear when Barack Obama got elected. Then I'm like, okay, we got this black man in office. Or mixed race black. Well, by America's term, he's black. By America's terms, he's black. In office. What is he going to do for black folks? I started asking that in 2011. You know what black folks told me? He ain't the president of black folks. He everybody's president. He can't just do anything for black folks. He's everybody's president. Then come 2016, it's Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. Hot sauce in my bag swag, Hillary Clinton. Again, hot sauce in my bag swag, Hillary Clinton. Hey, can we demand something from Hillary Clinton as far as the black community goes? No, we can't. You worried about the wrong thing. We got to focus on making sure Trump don't get into office. It ain't the right time. We got to make sure Trump don't get into office. Trump gets into office. You Negroes threw a temper tantrum for 4 straight years. He ain't my president. The orange man ain't my president. Russia collusion. Y'all threw a fit for 4 years. And they get nothing done. I take that back. Black people who actually took the time out to say, were mature enough to say, you know what? Donald Trump's my president. Let's see what we get done. The HBCUs got something. I'm gonna try to find the Angela Stanton video. Angela Stanton, she the First Step Act. Black folks who went and met with Donald Trump got what they wanted. While y'all threw a damn temper tantrum like little kids for 4 straight years. Russia, he colluding with the Russians. He colluding with the Russians. Russia collusion. Y'all threw a temper tantrum for 4 straight years. Then here comes Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. You know, the same Sleepy Joe that y'all was crying how his 94 crime bill put your pookie away, your cousin, your uncle who was selling crack. You know, how your cousin and uncle got 25 years for crack. You know, your cousin got 25 years because, you know, he was on a corner selling crack. He just had a little piece of, I mean, it was this much. I mean, it was just this much crack. I mean, it was just this much. It was just one rock. It was just one rock. It was just one rock, man. It was just one rock. It ain't right, man. You know, Pookie got 25 for just a little rock, man. A little crack rock, man. It ain't right, man. That 94 crime bill, man, is systematic racism. You know, he just had a little piece of crack, you know. He just had a little piece of crack, man. You know, he just trying to make a living, man. Because the white man is holding him back. You know, he's trying to make a living. So he would just sell a little crack on the corner, man. It ain't right. And 5-0 pulled up on him, man, and locked him up, man. And, you know, the white folks across the town, other side of town, though, they be snorting cocaine, man. They don't get 25 to life for snorting the cocaine. It ain't right, man. It's racist, man. It's racism. It ain't right, man. You know, Pookie would just sell a little bit of crack, man. Just a little crack, just a little piece of crack, man. He got 25, man. He got 25, man. These racist laws, man. Y'all don't demand nothing from him. And I like, you know what? I like Joe Biden. I'm going to tell you why I like Joe Biden. I'm going to tell you why I like Joe Biden. Joe Biden, you know, I got to play it. I want to fit. No, hold on. Let me. This is why I like Joe Biden. This is why I like Joe Biden. Even after this, even after saying he ain't gonna do nothing for y'all, saying how immigration and LGBTQ are his top two priorities, and even after saying this, hold on, let me find this. Hold on, let me play this. This is why I like Joe Biden. No, I'm gonna play this clip first. There's so many clips I can play. We're gonna get Kamala. We're gonna get on Kamala too. But there's so many clips that I can play. Let me play this clip though. I want to play this clip. This clip right here is important. These commercials, come on. You can't even skip the commercials. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Guys, hit the like button, please. Hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. Give me a second. Let me
It is the phrase that everybody's talking about today. You ain't black. Those were the words coming from Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden.
Joe Biden goes on a black TV show and tells you have vote if you don't know if you know not to vote. Basically say you ain't black if you don't vote for him. Tells you ain't black. If you don't know not to vote for him or Trump, you ain't black. Or let me play what he said.
During a radio show interview.
Well, he was talking about anyone who doesn't know whether to vote for him or President Trump in November.
If you don't know whether to vote for him or Donald Trump, you ain't black. That's what he said. And I'm going to play the clip. Sleepy Joe was half asleep, you know, because he's Sleepy Joe. He was half asleep. Then Charlamagne asked him a question about voting for him, if people should vote for him. The black community. Sleepy Joe wakes up. He gets up. Hold on. Sleepy Joe was half asleep. He was asleep. Charlamagne asked him a question in regards to black people supporting and voting for him. Sleepy Joe wakes up. Says, if you don't know whether to vote for me or Trump, you ain't black. I mean, Sleepy Joe was asleep. Let's play the video.
November, Biden's words sparked a growing debate. CBS 46's Brittany Miller explains that Biden has since apologized.
Yes, he has apologized, saying that he shouldn't have been such a wise guy or so cavalier. But Biden's apology really hasn't put out the flames of this national controversy.
3 words have ignited a political and racial firestorm.
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you...
This mother dude, oh my God. Like I said, he was asleep. Leans into the camera. Again, he leans into the camera and starts pointing at y'all. It starts pointing at you guys. Picks up his envelope. Where's the envelope at? I got an envelope around here. What did you? It starts pointing at y'all and leans into the damn screen. Leans into the camera. He's hot. Like Joe Biden is hot. How dare you question me, Negro? You don't know whether to vote for me or Trump. You ain't black. What's wrong with you? Look at him.
Whether you're for me.
A political and racial firestorm.
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
You Ain't Black is all over social media and major news outlets. The Trump campaign is even selling You Ain't Black t-shirts for $30 online. Presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden made the comment while on the popular radio show The Breakfast Club Friday morning.
Yeah, I cringed when I heard Joe Biden say those words.
CBS 46 political analyst Rashad Ritchie believes this was Biden's failed attempt at a joke.
A 77-year-old white male should not be giving advice to black people about what it means to be black.
While vice chair of candidate recruitment for Georgia's Democratic Party, Adrian White, doesn't think Biden meant any harm by this.
And I don't hold it against him because, you know, that is who we know. That is Uncle Joe, as we endearingly call him.
Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe. This is Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe is what he's affectionately known as in the black community, Uncle Joe. So Uncle Joe gets a pass. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, we're going to put the link in the chat room in about 20, 30 minutes. You guys can call in. Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe just didn't know any better. You know, this is similar. This is equivalent to, you guys ever hear these stories of someone who's in an interracial relationship? So you might have a black man or a black woman who's married to a white guy or white woman. And that white guy or white woman, they have their white parents. And maybe there's like the white grandparent who grew up like in the 40s and 60s before segregation. And they still have these racist attitude, like they still have this racist attitude. And once in a while, they'll slip up and make derogatory statements about black people. And it's, that's just grandpa, whatever. You know, he grew up before, he grew up during segregation. I'm sorry, before integration. That's what I meant. He grew up during segregation. He's just, he just had a racist relapse. Just give him a pass. Yeah. Yeah, he did. He's just, he just had a relapse. He didn't know any better. He grew up doing segregation when, black folks weren't allowed to use the same water faucets as white people, Yeah, that's when he grew up. He just didn't know any better. And here they go caping for him. And you have Rashad Ritchie, who's caping for him as well. They're bought and paid for by white liberals, which is, for whatever. Hey man, get your money. Get your money. Because right now he's caping for Fannie Willis, and that's a whole nother. We'll do another show on that, on the Fannie Willis situation. But let's get back to O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Chicago is one of the most blackest cities in the nation. Believe it or not, it is.
And that's the point I was making from the beginning. Y'all think just because you're a black city that you guys are a protected class. Yeah, this is a black city. We run things here. You know, we run it. You know, this is a black city. We run the show here. Shoot, you got to answer to them black folks downtown. We in all the positions of power, you know, because this is a black city.
With a lot of the black elites and a lot of blacks that have contributed to Chicago as one of the greatest financial metropolises in the United States. But let me kind of talk about Brandon Johnson and hone in on him for a minute. There was a sister from the Nation of Islam that confronted Brandon Johnson, the mayor, about the same issue we're talking about. Let's play that clip because it's touching.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to say good afternoon to the City Council members, the media over there, and to my brother, Mayor Brandon Johnson, who we fought on some fronts together. And all those fronts we fought on together when I was with SEIU or anything else out there in the street, Brother Brandon, you have always been on the right side of history. That's why I campaigned for you, and that's why I voted for you. That's why I encouraged others to vote for you, because I knew and I felt in my heart you would be on the right side of history. And that meant including your people, descendants of enslaved Africans.
I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear this FBA ADOS stuff anymore. I don't want to hear it. Y'all didn't have that same FBA ADOS energy when you voted for him. It was, we got to get rid of the orange man. It was, Barack Obama ain't the president of just black folks. He's everybody's president. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm sorry. Don't bring that shit up now. Don't bring up descendant of slaves. Because all that shit didn't matter. The descendant of slaves didn't want anything specifically for themselves. Ain't no do-overs. Brandon Johnson ain't going nowhere. Y'all gonna have to deal with him. And I guarantee you, this lady right here who's standing up making her speech, I guarantee you she's going to vote for Joe Biden. I guarantee you the black folks of Chicago are still going to vote for Joe Biden. I'm willing to bet. Yeah, don't play the emotional, you know, we descended of slaves. You know, we were sharecroppers. You know, our ancestors were sharecroppers. I don't want to hear it. Leave that out of this conversation. Don't confront Brandon Johnson on that. I'm sure Brandon Johnson's very aware that you guys, that we are descended of slaves. But again, Joe Biden, number one, let me back up. Chicago is a sanctuary city. Number one. Descendant of slaves, foundational black Americans. Chicago is a sanctuary city. Number two, the person you voted for, Joe Biden, said his top priorities were the alphabet community and immigration, not the descendant of slaves. The descendant of slaves just wanted to get rid of the orange man, so don't bring it up now. We got to move on. Let's continue.
Brother, you got to stop the buses from coming in. You just got to stop the buses coming in because it's hurting your people.
No. Greg Abbott, you are doing the work. Greg Abbott, keep them buses rolling. Greg Abbott, keep gassing up them Greyhound buses, mega buses. Because this is what you guys wanted. Nah, it's just too late now. It is too late. Greg Abbott, keep them, listen. You're doing a great job, Greg Abbott. You are doing an excellent job, Greg Abbott. Keep them buses rolling to Chicago, New York. She can't stop the buses. He can't stop the buses because Chicago's a sanctuary city. They got to let them in. And thank God when they were trying to make Atlanta a sanctuary city under Keisha Lance Bottoms, that we had some folks with some sense that say that shut that shit down. Nah, you can't stop the buses. Keep doing the job, Greg Abbott. I ain't mad at you. Somebody said park the buses on O Block.
I'm talking about descendants of enslaved Africans. We're hurting the things that our people been on the waiting list come for. The immigrants are coming in, getting everything, and I don't have time to.
Good for the immigrants. Good for the immigrants. Because you didn't want anything specifically for the descendants of freed Africans or enslaved Africans. You didn't want anything. So I don't want to hear it. You know, I take that back. If you're in Chicago, if you could please come on and tell me what the Black Chicago as a whole demanded from Brandon Johnson, specifically for Black Chicago, I'll like to know. Or from Joe Biden, I would like to know. Again, it's too late. Yes, this is what they voted for. Absolutely. Yes, they did, AS. I've been saying this for years now. Coming from California, I've watched this happen. And again, black folks east of the Rocky Mountains think they are a protected class just because they ain't a black city. Because the city is black. That's the attitude. It's a sanctuary city, so the resources got to go somewhere. There's an agreement that if illegal immigrants come to Illinois or Chicago or whatever, that they have to provide for them. So those resources have to come from somewhere.
To go into all of it because I have another concern. When I used to come down here under Harold Washington and we were fighting Ed Burt, Badoliak, and the rest of the haters of black people that sat in these seats down here, we had two Latino aldermen. We had Luis Gutierrez and Jesus Garcia. They never pushed a black woman around. They never voted against black people's issues. They never held meetings behind Mayor Washington's back to form committees. They never tried to take black wards and black precincts. I thought we were on our way to a black and brown coalition, but you know what? I thought I'd see it under you.
Ain't no such see, this is how delusional and naive black folks east of the Rocky Mountains are. We've been saying for years now, black folks on the West Coast, we've been saying for years that there's no such thing as a black and brown coalition. No such thing. We've been saying for years on this show that there is no such thing, but again, I grew up in California, so it's different. that there's no such thing as a black and brown coalition. Black folks east of the Rocky Mountains, they didn't believe. They didn't believe us. Black folks east of the Rocky Mountains, they didn't believe us. Well, see, this is a black city. See, hold on. Let me blow myself up. See, this is a black city. See, them Latinos come to our black city, they're gonna have to answer to us. You know, this is a black city. You know, black folks. You know, black folks run this city. Them Latinos come to our city, they're gonna have to answer to us. See, them immigrants come to we run the city. You know, they come to our city, they gonna have to answer to us. Okay, all right. Okay. See how that's working in Compton? What other? See how that's working in the Bay Area? But okay, all right, cool. All right. Y'all got it. All right, okay, no, okay, all right. See, this is a black city. The black folks run this city, so them folks got to answer to us. Do you know who you talking to? See, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan. See, this is black power, black excellence. They're going to answer to us. Okay, all right, how's that working out now? How's that working out for the descendant of African slaves or black slaves, whatever you want to call it? See, we call the shots here in Chicago. I know how y'all be acting. I know exactly how you guys think. See, you know, they need to come up in here in Chicago, the Windy City. You know, black folks run this city. They need to come up in here and tell us. They got to answer to us. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. Let me get back to the video.
But you know what? Carlos Ramirez, he spoiled all of that. And it was disrespectful.
Who spoiled it? Carlos Ramirez. Of course, Carlos Ramirez is going to look after his people. Look out for his people. Of course he is. He's supposed to. But this is a black city. We gonna decide. We're gonna vote you out. We're gonna vote you out of office. We're gonna vote you out. Oakland, Richmond. I'm from Sacramento. I watched this happen. Fillmore District, Pittsburgh, Vallejo, Compton. I mean, come on. I see it happen. And when we were trying to tell black folks east of the Rocky Mountains, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is a black city, man. We black folks, we run everything in here in this motherfucker over here. We run it. They're going to answer to us. We been here 400 years. And my ancestors, they were sharecroppers. You think Carlos Ramirez gives a damn that your ancestors was sharecroppers?
To every black man down there on that floor, including you, that he's comfortable enough to put his body in front of a black woman, you understand, and tell her what she can't do, because she know ain't no strong black men down there that's gonna confront him. He know his people got his back. I wish it had been me he pushed. But I'll just go on to say this. Something has got to be done because all black women ain't satisfied with Immigrants' apology and to forgive. We ain't for it. But back to the buses.
Y'all forgave Joe Biden. Remember Joe Biden. Remember Joe Biden locked up Pookie. Locked up Ray Ray for a little piece of crack. Y'all forgive Joe Biden. Systematic racism, the 94 crime bill. You know, he was locking up black folks who were on corners, you know, trying to make a living. They would sell a little piece of crack, man. They locked them up for 25 years. Y'all forgave him. So leave this guy alone. All right, let's go.
My brother, please, coming from your elder. We've been talking. The elder's been talking. We're looking for you to help us on this issue. Stop the buses. Please stop those buses from coming in here. Will you please? Thank you. Please.
Oh, yeah. This really shook up the whole city. And again, so many people have.
Who tweet in 60 seconds? They say it can't be done. First, you want to post something. You can use AliWriter AI to flesh out your ideas and write a first draft. Then you can use our Grammarly integration to edit it. Get the AI-powered hashtag generator.
Have been talking about it because a lot of African Americans feel like some of these immigrants are even being rude. Here's a story that a Hispanic man called a black woman lazy at one of these town hall meetings.
No more money for you. You working. No more money for you. Bye-bye.
Go back. No more money for you.
No. Don't tell him to go home. No, he's home now. He is home now. This is what you voted for. No. And see what's crazy now, when Donald Trump was saying the same shit, y'all called him a racist, white supremacist. When he was warning you guys what was going to happen. Now you guys are telling him to go home. Nah, Ramirez is home. His home is Chicago. His home is now Chicago. Leave him alone. This is what you guys voted for. And once again, black folks on the West Coast, we was trying to tell you guys, but no, y'all east of the Rocky Mountain, you think you're a protected class and the Democrat Party is going to save y'all.
No more money for you. It's lazy. You lazy. No more money for you.
I want to give a shout out to them.
And see that's all we're good for is yelling and screaming. That's all we can do is yell and scream and make little silly memes, you know, reclaim my time. You know, that's all we can do. Just yell at him, tell him to go home. But he's home. He's home. Chicago is his home.
The African Diaspora channel for finding this story. Now, I want to talk about Brother Search for Uhuru because he's been weighing in on this. He's a brother that's African American, just like me. We're from the same city of Sacramento, but he's been talking about the.
Hey, no more money for you. No more money for you. And see, what's interesting, when white folks tell us to go back to Africa, we get upset. But then we go tell other immigrants that they need to go back home. Ain't that some shit? So here we are, we're telling immigrants they need to go back home. But then when white folks tell us to go back to Africa, we get offended. Shout out to O'Shea Du Jackson.
Situation about immigration. And he made some controversial statements about it, which we're going to analyze now. But let's go into the first clip.
Today's topic. They say immigrant tethers are eating off our plate. You know, the ADOS FBA, they're saying these immigrant tethers, you know, they're coming to America and they eat off our plate. What I want somebody to call in. Again, I want somebody to call in. All right. I want somebody to call in and I want you to define what the plate is and then who owns the plate.
Now let's go into the second clip.
But when ADOS FBA, when they say that these immigrant tellers, you know, the immigrants are coming in and they're eating off our plate. Like what plate? Because the majority of immigrants that I know, 99.9% of the immigrants I know, they either work for themselves or they work for white people or the government, which is white people. That's what they work for. I do not see African and Black immigrants in mass getting jobs for ADOS FBA companies. So that's why I get confused when I keep hearing this. They are eating off our plate rhetoric. Again, they're working for themselves, they're entrepreneurs, or they have
Gladiator.
And guys, we talked about this last week. What's the plate? What is the plate? Who owns the plate? All the immigrants I know, 99.9% of them, they work for themselves. They have their own jobs. They're entrepreneurs. And they work for white people. They not working for no FBA, ADOS companies. The majority of them. Maybe a few. But 99.99% of them, they work for, once again, themselves or for white people. Now, I would say there's an exception that I've noticed. So in the airport here in Atlanta, Hartsville-Jackson, you have concessions companies. And these concession companies, from my understanding, are the majority of them are operated by they're owned by black people. I actually do business with a few of them. And you do see a large number of Senegalese or Gambian or just African immigrants in general, or immigrants in general across the board who work for these companies at the airport. So there are exceptions, but the majority, that's like the 1%. Okay, I'll give you guys 3%. That's like the 3% out of 97%. In fact, I'm going to give you guys 2%. That's 2% out of 98%. The other 98% work for themselves or they work for white people. But there are Black-owned concession companies at the airport, and you'll see immigrants working for the Black-owned here in Atlanta and Hartsville-Jackson for those companies. But that's it. Like I said, I'll give you 2%. I'll give you 2. 98, no. Themselves or for white folks.
Contender. 3, 2.
Jobs. And then when it comes to education, when it comes to, you know, because the argument was, well, these, you know, these immigrants, they're getting into Harvard. But is it still your plate though? I mean, is it your plate? The government benefits infrastructure built from slavery. But is that your plate? Thank you, Taraka. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Is it your plate?
He makes an important statement. Who owns the plate? In this case, he's talking about African immigrants who come to the United States. And he's saying that a lot of these African immigrants start their own business or they work for whites. So how are they eating off the plates of African Americans? He then talks about the educational opportunities that he feels that some people clap back at. Well, you know, these African immigrants are getting into Harvard. They're graduating from Howard Medical School. And yeah, I saw that. I was in medical school. And even when I was in Europe, the Americans that were doing medical school were Africans that were in medical school, Nigerian Americans to be exact. I was one of the only few African Americans that parents came from slavery that was in medical school as an African American that graduated. So I can understand what he's talking about. But this is not new. Dr. Claude Anderson predicted this over 30 years ago.
Y'all didn't listen.
And here's what he had to
Y'all
say.
listen to Joy Reid.
And nothing has changed. And that black folk are still fighting for self-sufficiency and competitiveness in this country, and that we must come together quickly or what risk being a permanent underclass in the society.
One of the alarming predictions you make in the book is along those lines. You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015?
2015, because what I've concluded from analysis is that there are going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And one, we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites can be more.
Somebody asked in the chat room, how is Dr. Claude Anderson doing? I haven't seen him in a while. He's done. He's done with you Negroes. He's done. He's done. He's quit. He's done. And I don't blame him. He's retired to spend time with his family. He's done. He warned you guys over 30 years ago, but you guys would rather listen to Joy Reid, Obama, Biden. So he's done.
More anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. Two, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to a minority. We've been number 2 in the society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America.
Stimulated students, you got a point there. I forgot about that. He went on the Breakfast Club and told black folks to vote for Joe Biden. So you got a point. You make a great point. Oh, I forgot about that part. He did say go vote for Joe Biden. He said that. Uh-oh. Yeah. Thank you, stimulated students. He said that. Let me charge up my laptop before it goes dead. No, he did say go vote for Joe Biden. He said that. He said that. He endorsed Joe Biden. He did. I don't know. Can I ask a question? Can I ask an honest question? Like an honest question. I want an honest answer here. Why were you guys so shook by Donald Trump? Why? Like, can we just have an honest conversation here? Why were you guys willing to give up everything, which wasn't a lot, just to get rid of the orange man? Can we just have an honest conversation? Yeah, like Tahuti Raw, like I said, black folks threw a temper tantrum for 4 straight years. Like little kids.
They're coming in higher than we are because this country operates off of a preferential acceptance.
There's one simple vision hack anyone can use to improve vision, so you can say goodbye to your optometrist for good. Did you know that vision impairments have nothing to do with your eyes? The eyes are simply a camera for the part of the brain responsible for your sight.
Program, which means that groups are coming in based on skin color, going from the lightest down to the darkest, light, yellow, brown, black. And that's what our immigration laws are based on. And black folk would not be able to penetrate through those groups to get to the white society when that happens, because those groups owe us nothing. They don't understand our problems, and they are competitive with us, and we don't begin to be a little more aggressive about being in a competitive posture, they're going to eat our lunches.
Now, this actually aired 1994 or 1995, so it's almost close to 30 years. But his prediction came true. It came completely true. Why is that? And I understand the concerns on both sides. I would say we, as the African American community, have done a few things wrong. Number one, electing stupid leaders. Let's fly over to the city of Dalton, Illinois, shall we? How many of you guys have heard of this lady, Tiffany Henyard, the city girl mayor? Yeah, this lady is doing all kinds of buffoonery. She even claps back at people in her office like this.
Deputy clerk, you're out of order. And that's your problem. People need to learn to stay in their place. Like I gave you the floor, I was quiet. I let you say whatever you want to say. Now you listen to what I got to say. Stop being disrespectful. Stop lying to the people about what it is you in your office should be doing. You and Clerk Key, period.
This is a lady that spends a lot of money going on trips, doing all kind of silly stuff like that. I mean, what do you expect when you have a Democratic mayor who is incompetent in every way? What about LaToya Cantrell out of New Orleans? You mean the woman who says this when she steals money to go to Dubai?
Whether or not New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell needs to reimburse the city for her first-class travel upgrades may come down to who she works for. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Sheree Skipson. The city travel policy is that city employees must buy the lowest airfare available or pay the difference if they elect to travel in other sections.
And Paul Murphy reports the legal question now is, does the policy apply to elected officials, such as the mayor?
A defiant New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell is refusing to pay the city roughly $29,000 she charged this year to upgrade her city air travel to business and first class.
All expenses incurred doing business on behalf of the city of New Orleans will not be reimbursed to the city of New Orleans. One thing is clear, I do my job.
Right, and we can go even to male mayors, former leaders like Kwame Kilpatrick and others. The point that I'm trying to make is we elect people who are largely incompetent because we like them or we feel like they have swag. And then when they get in office, these people feel like they don't need to do anything for us. So what do? They go to the people that fund them. And that's something secondarily that we got to deal with. Pan-Africans are those people that are on, the FBA #ADOS side, or we're Native American Indians. Those two groups share one thing in common. We fail to understand the political ball game. And what happens in politics, it creates strange bedfellows, right? One of those strange bedfellows can be created if you're paying for an agenda to occur. What has happened in Black America is that most of us are largely Democrat, and we don't really contribute to campaigns, to people. So when we elect them into office, well, we're not funding them. So they're going to bet on the fact that, well, no matter how fucked up I do at this job, I'll be reelected anyway. Isn't that the story of Coleman Young? Coleman Young is one of the worst mayors in the history of Black America. And he was even dying and was still getting reelected. He really helped destroy Detroit. Baltimore has been destroyed from the same politics. And now we're seeing Chicago and its suburbs like Dalton, Illinois. We elect people who we feel like don't need to do anything for us, and they know that, so they don't push an agenda. And another thing, because we don't use our money toward these people, we don't punish them when they up, when they make mistakes. And we should, but we don't. So when you don't give to your campaigns, you don't get to make the strange bedfellows that would really help you get to what you want to be, right? People don't need to like you in politics. They need to respect you. The same thing happens here on the continent for those who are repatriating. Why doesn't Africa give us free land? Why don't we get free citizenship? We deserve it because we're from here. It makes sense. And it's the same argument that we would use, like, we helped build this country. We've been here for a long time. But for the powers that may be, if they don't feel like you should get those things, then we have to somehow play those games to
be
get
a
it.
win-win.
And this is not to be offensive because I'm an African American. I definitely believe we deserve all the stuff, reparations. We deserve everything that we can get.
We were taken from your gifts.
However,
that's why
it appears that if we don't be more united, supporting each other, trying to work together to get these causes met, we're going to be on the same situation, backsliding. And just like you heard Dr. Claude Anderson, if you were number 2 and you didn't get nothing, what do you think you're going to get when you're number 3 and number 4? Because we were number 2. We were the second largest minority group. Now we're not. So at number 2, if you didn't get nothing, what do you get in number 4? So the same strategy that we've been using has not been working. And this is why these Democrats keep on bringing in immigrants into America, because they feel like, well, the blacks are going to still vote us in.
Facts.
Because they hate, the other side, or they don't want to form their own.
Listen, the lady that spoke at the council meeting was speaking to Brandon Johnson. She's still going to vote Democrat. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. But I do think that a lot of black folks are going to vote for Trump this time around. It's going to be interesting. This election cycle is going to be very, 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 very interesting. Let's see what happens. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and subscribe. But once again, hit the like button. Thank you.
Party, which tends to have been true. This is what they have done. So they know that no matter what we do, they're going to vote down the line. So why do you respect a vote? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a man or a woman. You have a husband or a wife, right? You can go out and cheat on them every day. They might complain about it, but they're never going to leave. Your husband is still going to pay the bills no matter how many times he catches you in bed with another man. Would you have any respect for him? Not really, because he's never going to go anywhere, right? But if he will go somewhere, you would be, emboldened to stop your behavior because you could be let go. And until blacks start to do that in America, like, we're going to pull our resources, our votes or whatever from you guys, or we're going to support our political campaigns with money to get what we want to do or create an agenda, then we're going to continue to have that issue. And that same issue is what affects us diasporans here in Africa. There's no agenda. There's no money really behind the agenda. So you're not going to be able to make somebody feel bad for your situation because you're right. Again, Malcolm X used to be right, and Dr. King used to be right on a lot of debates when it came to racism. But then again, you have to have that power or fear behind you, which is what some of them did in the 60s, which we don't have now. So the immigrant crisis is going to get worse unless blacks in America decide to, hey, listen, we need to somehow bond together and understand, look, who we are as a people. We need to really try to come together quickly. Like Dr. Claude Anderson said, quickly, right? In the African-American community, we got to come together quickly.
It's too late.
Fast. Start supporting each other. If people got to fight it out, let them fight it out. Let's just get it, together, slowly by slowly, start building some trust and accountability within each other so that we can start to demand what it is that we want. It's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but it has to start somewhere. And the secondary thing, politics is won by money. How much can you give? And how much can you make somebody feel like if you don't do that, I'm not going to support your political campaign anymore? It's what everybody does. The gays, protected groups do it. They give money. If you don't do it, we're not going to give you money anymore. I think as blacks, we have the money. We don't give the money because we feel like we're owed something, which we are. So we don't give. And then that keeps us being pushed back too. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy.
America's first rifleman. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Give me 1 second. I can't hear anything.
Okay. Go ahead, Trina. Trina, you still listen, Trina. You better next time you come on, Trina, that white patch on your wall needs to be painted burnt orange like the rest of your wall, Trina. Can you guys hear me?
Y'all stop cutting on me.
You better go, Trina. Next time you come on here, that white patch has been there for over a year now, Trina.
I'm back. I can hear you now.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, America's First Wife Man. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Look, you and Brandon and everybody else years ago, we warned everybody, but then again, I think that it's not gonna matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, people aren't gonna care. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. They're still in the foreseeable future still gonna listen to those very same voices, because they look nice, and that represents the best of us. So they're gonna keep following these blackety blacks on TV because they say all the nice stuff, and that's it. So that's why my plan is to really retire in Africa and out of America, because the future here is pretty bleak. It's not looking good over here. And and also, on top of that, the reason why there's a lot of because Claude Anderson was right on a lot of stuff, even though he's a little stupid and kooky on some stuff. Anti-black is going up. You know why? What group of people anywhere in the world is going to have love for underclass? You know what I'm saying? No matter what race you are, like, you think they're gonna like have some type of endearment towards you if you're a permanent underclass? So of course that's gonna rise up. And plus, also, in the media, to keep black people in line and keep voting Democrat, they keep putting that feel good anti-white stuff out in all the popular media. It's great to dunk on white people now, so we feel all good, and get to puff our chests out and talk crap at individual white people on the street. But we're weaker than ever. We have less power than ever. So you could put.
Sorry about that. Hey, Philip, if you could, shout out to Emoji. Philip, if you could call in, because Philip, you're from Chicago. In fact, you back and forth between Chicago and LA. Philip, links in the chat room. Try to call in if you can. All right, go ahead, America's First Wife Man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's all that feel good stuff. We get to diss and beat up individual people, and then at the end of the day, we got nothing, and we're gonna get less. So that's just get used to it. So everybody, get y'all exit strategy to Africa, because they actually recognize you're a black person. They don't care if you're from the Caribbean or all this other place. There's a doppelganger of you in Africa. Go over there, build something, and make the place better than what you found it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. All the rest of this stuff, let these cats over here, go outside. Let them crash out. Let them do what they do. So that's what I've come to that realization. It's sad. I still love my people, but it's just like we just can't work together in this country. So I'll pass the mic.
All right, for sure. Go ahead, Trina. Thank you for the super chat. Large amounts of coltan found in Kenya. Go ahead, Trina.
I think black people in America have been too socially engineered to think that the Democrats are our friends. We've been told that vote Democrat because the Republicans are just racist and they evil and they're not for us. We weren't really taught to read policy, and we just go by what we've been taught, passed on. But to be honest with you, we don't play the game anyway. You have to buy your votes. The immigrants, they bought Biden and Harris. We don't put our money together to buy any politician, to get the politicians to do anything for us. And we don't read policy. I mean, why did we vote against our interests? Read the policies. If the political candidates don't have any tangibles for your group or anything to offer your group, why are you voting for them? And I had to learn that the hard way. That's all I got to say.
Guys, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. If you want to call in and after the conversation, please click on the link. Again, if you want to call in and after the conversation, please click on the link. It is in the chat.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
One thing I'll say is, everybody that always goes in on their fellow Black Americans who say they're going to support Trump or Republicans or whatever, or certain policies. Yes, if somebody says, I'm a Republican, or I'm a neocon, or I'm like this, I'm like a right winger till I die all day. Yes, that's their ideology, whatever. And you can treat them as such. But me personally, I'm more of an issues-based voter. I look at the individual policies, like this sister was just saying. before I look at how they look or kind of the rhetoric or whatever. I look at the policies and the people that's behind them, what they usually support, what they're trying to do, and I go from there. I don't go for all the like. So that's why I'm not an emotions based person. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's been engineered and ingrained in us for us to be emotional based people here. But I think that does us a huge disservice because we can't separate ourselves from stuff. I don't know. It's really sad to see. So that's why I'm an issues based voter. If say tomorrow, if Trump took on several policies that Nikki Haley was championing, and he takes on those, I'm not voting for the man. So it's very simple. So like I said, he's very zero tolerance on the border. Yes, I'm gonna be voting for him. You know why? Because keeping all those millions of people out gives young black people breathing room to get skills and to be competitive in the global marketplace. Okay, all these people coming over are going to take every single little job or economic activity if we don't make it ourselves, that are out there for people to take. So that's just one instance, and I'll pass the mic on that one.
All right, guys, call in. If not, we'll go ahead and start closing out. Go ahead, Trina. You got something to add?
Well, I just put in the private chat. Well, Trump had $500 billion for the black community, and we told him no.
We didn't want it. We said no. We wanted the other
We
guy.
said no. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. He had money for us, and we told him no. What kind of mess is that?
Well, he said shithole countries. He said shithole countries. That's more important.
Just the social engineering is just bad.
Yeah. Oh well. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's going to be interesting these next several months to see how this plays out. But I mean, Trump's going to be the Republican nominee. And that's it. America's First, Ralphman, how do you feel about have you been following the Fannie Willis situation?
Yes, I have.
What are your thoughts on it?
Man, it's just, once again, a black person in a position of power that makes us look bad, whatever, just moving in all types of like people do dirt. Like, yes, every demographic does dirt, but they are able to put layers of separation between them and their dirt. Like, how you gonna get a nigga a paycheck and have buy you and take? Like, come on, you moving all types of sloppy. So it just makes us look bad. And then black women in general. So I this is like, all she said was, she went after one thug. Well, actually, she was banging thugs apparently. So I don't know. Y'all just need to get people that actually have morals and values and people that are actually incorruptible. That's the one thing, is that if we can recognize a black person that's incorruptible and have them in a position of power and protect that person, we will get outsized benefits you won't believe. You won't understand. Like, especially, and I'll give just one quick example. There were examples in so many countries where they use like literal death as an incentive not to be corrupt, especially if you're going to be in a position of power, like a mayor or something like that. It's like, I think we need to get back to that, because I don't see any other way. But I know it's a little extreme, but it's just, I think that's the only way we're going to get to that, because anything else, like prison, like Kwame Kilpatrick, he out making podcasts right now. You know what I'm saying? People like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was a little messed up, but look at him now. So anyway, yeah, it's sad to see.
Go ahead, Shah.
Hey, greetings, Dynas.
Peace, man.
Great conversation. I mean, the subject matter is very important and very talked about right now. Everybody's talking about it. I've been learning. I've had to, really understand a lot of things as a result of, just Black folks going in directions that doesn't just seem like the right direction, i.e. vote for Donald Trump. I believe in local politics, and I believe that there is a such thing as a trickle down effect that starts at a federal, then state, and then local level, and that our efforts can be if done right, we can make it count so that those big funds that are allocated at a federal level can trickle down to the local level. But I have to be honest with you, Dynas, voting for someone like Trump with all of his negativity and his just outright racist viewpoints and stupid things that he says and does, it just doesn't make sense. And I'm saying this from the point of view of politics really reaching us as a people. I think that the political system is not enough. That what we can do in politics is not going to be enough. That we have to do more because we are really basically on our own. And even though, like I said, I believe in local politics, it's going to require more than just local politics. It's going to require us doing things on a local level in which we put our monies together, in which we control our education, in which we control what else? Our politics, our economics, and we've got to work on that level. And politics alone is not going to be enough. So, yeah, I mean, this is my view in terms of the years that I've been around and I've been doing things. I don't see things getting better for us, whether we're Democrats or Republicans, it doesn't matter because the system really wasn't designed for us in the first place.
Hey, Sim Police Academy is asking, name one racist thing he said.
One racist thing that he says?
Yeah, that he said, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump says stupid shit like there were good people on both sides.
Were there good people on both sides?
No, there weren't good people on both sides. To me, the thing that happened in
Virginia.
Yeah.
Can I interject real quick? Because I actually know a black man that was there at Charlottesville at that time, and he's a good black man. And he was on a certain side. He wasn't on the other side, I'll tell you that.
Okay. So what's the point?
There were decent people on both sides. They're both American citizens. Nobody's perfect. That what he said wasn't crazy. Not every single person over there was some enraged anti-black racist that wants to do something bad. It was really about some statue that people wanted to tear down. Nobody was talking about it until people started saying we're going to tear down the statue because grievances, whatever. So that's how it kind of started. And people were like, nah, let's just preserve history and move on with our lives. And that's what it was really about, more than it was kind of anything else. And it got made into a huge political thing. So, but that's my opinion. Sorry.
Okay, that's just one thing. I'm trying to stay away from shithole countries because that's the obvious thing that he said, later in his time period. But I mean, there's other things that he's done that's just doesn't make sense. And his whole track record as a public person when he was in New York, from his racist.
It's crazy that he wasn't racist when he was working with Jews and around black people in Manhattan and all that, and rappers were rapping about him. He wasn't racist then, and then as soon as he ran for president, he's this huge racist, sexist, misogynist guy. So
no,
it's kind of funny.
He was racist because he got sued for practicing racist.
He got sued for that. And then he also put, I'm sorry to cut you off, but he also put out a full page ad for the 15-year-old kids who got arrested for falsely being accused of raping a young white woman.
They snitched on themselves.
No, they actually were free.
Well, I know, but they
right.
lied. They lied and snitched on themselves.
Right. If you get arrested by a cop, you 15-year-old, you think back in
If
those
I
days.
get arrested by the cop, I'm not gonna
That
lie on
might
myself and say
that
I
may
did
be
something
you,
that I
but it's
didn't do.
plenty of kids who get put in
but hold
the
on, let me no, but America's First Rifleman, you're forgetting this part. The parents told them to admit to the crime that they didn't commit. The parents
because
told them.
is that or if you go in front of the judge and you get sentenced for life. So how many
Again,
people they already
again,
approved?
the parents told them to go ahead and confess to the crime. The parents told them.
So, but not even that though. My point.
I know you,
my point.
son.
My point about that though.
Son. I know you didn't rape her, son. I know you didn't rape her, but admit to raping her.
But my point is that they were innocent, but Donald Trump took out a full page ad calling for the death penalty.
No, they were the parents told them to
Okay,
the crime
but how about Donald Trump? Before they committed, hold on,
they admitted to
before
doing
they committed the crimes, before they were pled guilty before anything. Donald Trump took out a full page ad and called for the death penalty for 5 African American men.
They confessed to the crime
teenagers.
Before that ad was put out.
Okay, that might be true, but
and what is that about? And what was that about? Right. What is the reason that we do the plea bargaining? Is because they give us a
who
shitty
says
hand
yes,
on one
I
side.
raped that woman? Shaw, who says yes, I raped that woman?
Come on,
you
can
look at people who are put in a desperate situation in which.
But hold on, not even that situation.
A person who is faced with a
The cops didn't even put their hands on him. The cops didn't look. Y'all can't pull. Listen.
How did they get in there?
Listen, guys. The cops didn't even beat their ass or whatever, and they literally snitched on themselves and lied.
No, stop
So
stop playing, because you know what plea bargaining is, and you know that they didn't have any choices. The choices that they had was either you take this shitty deal, or if you don't take this deal, if you don't take this deal, then you're gonna get more time. And you don't have any legal. You have a public.
But no, you asked for racist. You asked for racist stuff. And
also,
I really do.
Listen, hold on, stop it.
I mean, you don't know how the correctional system.
No. I'd be damned if my son is accused of rape and he said, "Dad, I didn't do it." And I tell him, "You know what, son? Just go ahead and say you raped that white woman. Just go ahead and say you do it, so we get this on. You get this over with."
Come on, why? But why?
Come on, man.
No, but I didn't really realize until I start seeing when they use this as an example of how they use plea bargaining to really railroad our people up the damn river. And we don't have the resources. We have a public offender.
Listen, Shaw, can I interject real quick? I grew up during those times. Okay. I remember the whole controversy as a kid. I remember Central Park. I remember the whole setting. There's a reason why white people were wilding out during those days, talking about, killing criminals and stuff like that in Central Park. Literal women were getting killed and raped, and people were getting robbed. Like hooligans were literally, it was literally a terrorist atmosphere at the time. Okay. I remember walking with my grandmother, walking through it during the day. How dangerous it was sometimes.
That the system, the way that the system is structured,
is very
unfair.
The system made Central Park do. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and they were look at the end of the day, they were innocent.
So the system had black and Hispanic youths out in Central Park robbing and beating people's ass.
Innocent anyway. At the end of the day, they ended up being innocent. So now we can ask the question: why?
And we know it was a white guy. So that raped.
Why did they take those deals? White people. You got to ask the question: why did they take those deals?
The people I remember seeing. There were white people there too.
Hold on. And with that question, right, why they took those deals, we can look at how other people took deals too, and that it's a very unfair system in that way. So if they had turned out to be guilty, that we wouldn't be talking about it right now. So who are you defending? You're defending that it was a corrupt time, and it was like a lot of. I grew up in that era too.
So I knew during that time, listen, I was a teenager and I knew if cops picked me up and said, you did this, and I know I didn't do it, I'm not going to, you can say, oh, you take a plea, or we're going to give you 80,000 years. That's fine.
That's easy. I'm not going to do that. At 50 something years old, that's easy for you to say. But when you were,
I'm not
15,
50, I'm 40.
But
you weren't no teenager in the motherfucker.
How you been to prison?
Hold
weren't
on.
no
You
teenager in the 80s. I'm
Sean,
sorry.
again, you keep bringing up teenager. The parents
Have
told
any of
them
y'all
to
been in
visit the
jail?
Right.
Been to prison, ended it. Had to stand in front of the judge and face having to take a plea bargain or not. Have any of y'all ever done that? Because I have. Don't nobody plead
I
guilty to
don't
rape.
commit crimes.
Don't nobody plead guilty to rape though. All y'all up here doing this is why people can't move forward. Because every talking points y'all asked when this man asked for real reasons why y'all don't like this man. All y'all gave him was stuff that was put in your head by the Democrats. Y'all
No,
ain't
this
come with no
stuff is
real
fact.
reason.
That's
No,
fact.
that's a
You can.
historical
That's
fact.
everything fact.
Sean, listen to what the man said, and this is what I said. Who pleads guilty to rape if they didn't do it? Who takes a plea? Yeah, I raped that woman. Who does that?
Did you see the movie?
Well, and remember they were out there. They were out there doing naughty stuff.
saw the
So
movie.
let's remember these weren't innocent quote unquote teens. They were out there getting
there you go
involved in all that
I'm not
crap
here
out
to
there
bash
too.
him or none
There
of
you go
that.
again.
I
Well,
just
hold on.
want real
Let Shashi speak. Go ahead, Sashi. Sash, I can't pronounce. Go
I'm
ahead.
not here to bash the Central Park dudes and none of that. None of that really matters. I just want a real reason from these folks why they don't like Trump, because everything they have said thus far has been what the Democrats put on TV to make you not like Trump.
All those things said first ain't had nothing to do with the Democrats.
Right. And it's not just those things. There's a lot of other things. His I was just listening the other day. I wish I could have remembered some of the things that his policies and things that
I
he
wish I could remember.
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all facts straight up. I'm gonna tell you facts. When Donald Trump was debating Hillary Clinton and he put her on blast, I was all for it. I was like, yes, he's putting all this. I'm righteous, but no, you're not. You out here, Hillary Clinton, doing all type of dirt. I was feeling it. So I understand why people support Trump. But let's be honest, like all the other stuff that comes along with it. I mean, and then they talking about how the economy was booming. The economy was booming when Obama got out the office. Like,
Let's be honest.
Look.
Another Democrat still talking point. See,
what
all
have the
y'all coming with
Democrats
is
done for your
Democrat
people?
stuff that was put in your
That's the
head by
truth.
the
What
Democrats.
have
Is it a
Democrats done for
Democrat
your
talking
people?
point to say that Trump handed Hillary Clinton her ass on the debate stage? That's not
Okay, so
that's
what
not a
have the
Democratic
Democrats
talking
I'm
done for
talking
your
point.
about the Obama. The Obama did he's giving his presidency to a Democrat. Only reason
Okay,
that
so and
Congress did
again,
what it
here's the
did because
question that I have for you,
Obama did
black
what he
people.
did. No, it's not.
Black folks, here's the question. What have Democrats done for your people? Because to me,
Listen,
if it's a choice of Democrats or Republican and neither one of them are doing anything for us, it's a no-brainer.
The only reason why black people still vote for Democrats as the way that they do is because of the 1965 Voting Rights Act and so forth. They had to vote for the African American community since then.
Don't lie, it's because they trauma bond slavery and beat y'all with racism all the time.
Come on, no.
Every time election time comes around, they talk about racism and the Klan is back and they're gonna put y'all in chains every 4 years.
All that is true. I'm just saying why the African American community as a whole has been voting for the Democrats since 1965.
Because we're lazy.
Because they delivered the Voting Rights Acts. Okay, because they were lazy.
No, because we want Democrats to come up with the black agenda in America. Let's just be honest.
Let's be for real. Every legislation that's been ever
waiting forever.
Black people was a Republicans passing it, sir.
You'll be waiting for a long time for them to come up with a black agenda and then follow it out. So the question is, we can complain about both parties really haven't done shit for us as a people. And the real question is, when we realize that is
the Republican Party does stuff for black business owners.
What are we as a people going to do for ourselves because we are on our own? And we can sit in here and talk about I saved taxes. I had a business, and when Trump was in office, I saved a lot of tax money. Really? That's your reason?
We need to understand that Democrat, Republican, same entity. Okay, since they're the same entity and they're not doing anything for the betterment of us as a people or black people in America, you need to understand Democrat, Republican, that's the devil. You can't decide and choose and fight over which devil is good for me.
I'll take the devil that lowers my taxes and makes it easy for me to have a business. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
because
but
that
that's
benefits me
right.
and
This
black
is the
people.
thing, man. Listen,
It all sounds crazy when black people start bringing spookism into politics, man. You know what I'm saying? That devil in heaven and white Jesus and walking on water and turning water into a Ciroc and sleeping in the lion's den with bologna flavored drawers on. Like when anytime this is the thing that's killing us right here in America is this damn we have a religious we religiously dumb. You get what I'm saying? We love white Jesus. You get what I'm saying? Instead of getting out here and we are an employee-based community. If you look at all the black people in America, when you look at all the black people in America, only 23% of black people are entrepreneurs. That means that the black community in the whole is an employee-based community. When you look at the Latino population, 73% of them are entrepreneurs. See, all y'all talking about, hold on, bro. Come on, bro. Can I finish talking? Man, I say him quiet as hell for 10 minutes. I didn't interrupt. Now one of y'all lame ass niggas that sit up here talking about spookism, devil, heaven and hell, and Medusa.
You didn't even let me finish my point, and you cut me off.
I'm stating straight up facts that the black community is 73% employees, and the people that is above us, which is the Latino community, which is now 83 million and 14 million in hiding, 73% of them are entrepreneurs. So just by math, if any of y'all are businessmen, y'all can just see that for a fact. If you had a choice, you're going to invest in a community that's 73% employees, or you're going to invest in a community that's 73% entrepreneurs. And I'll let y'all, I'll give that back to y'all with the spookism after that.
Mr. Taro, let me finish what I was trying to say. And then try and calm down, okay? You don't need to be
no,
so
bro, you don't have to tell me to calm down. This is how I talk
tell you to
every
calm down.
day.
You don't need to be screaming.
Tell your whole ass mama to calm down. You don't tell me to calm down, boy.
Hey, relax with the boy. Ain't no boy over here.
Come on, high value Tyrone. We can't have that.
There's no boy over here.
Well, I talk the same way. You must don't know me, bro. I talk this way when I'm happy. See, that just shows how black people are, bro.
What?
See, the whole problem we have here is
just make your point, bro.
What I'm trying to say is
all black people don't have the same goals and ideals. Some black people are foreigners to America, so they're gonna agree with democracy and bringing the immigrants here and doing all of that. Y'all got to realize that.
I'm not over there. I'm not picking
Shay is right, because unfortunately, Royal, this is what the point we're trying to make is that you come in here with a lot of these Democrat ideas and listen, hear me out.
I'm not
and the first thing, hold on, just listen real quick. The first thing you're saying, the first thing you came on saying was, oh, Democrats, Republicans, the same, they're demons and all this stuff. And it's like, no, it's like black people like to talk.
But you didn't let me finish my point.
Listen, just listen real quick and I'll stop. Listen, I'll stop. Just rock with me real quick. Just listen, hear me out. So we like to come with this grandiose, like demon language, like, oh my God, they're against us. Like, they're demons. They're all part of the same thing. But listen, sir. And so the thing we're trying to impart to you is other groups and all that understand white people are racist, but they move in a way to give themselves political power. I'll give you an example. When these immigrants go into these communities, a certain class of them, a high amount of them are entrepreneurs. So when they come into an old messed up community, they'll take over a building, they'll put a taco stand up, they'll put a bakery up and all that. When black people are in a place, they just get a key doing the same stuff they were doing for 40, 50 years. Nobody wants to invest in that. So that's why when you come in talking politics, like, oh, Democrat, whatever, we talk about vote for the party that's going to make it easy for black entrepreneurs to get more so they can employ more black people. So and what, listen, I'm about to land a plane. Listen, and that's why you have to vote for policies more than you care about the party. You see Hispanics, they vote for both parties because it benefits them. And I land the plane. Go ahead, Royal. Go ahead.
So how are you going to help change this mindset that black people got?
to not talk about demons and they're this or that.
Forget me. I was just trying to make a point. And what I was trying to say is, let me try and say what I was trying to say, right? I'm
They're
trying to say,
demons. Go
again,
ahead.
see,
You said
guys are
both
stuck
parties
in
are
the
demons.
mind
Go
frame
ahead.
that you cannot see outside that mind frame. You guys have to understand that you guys have been dealing with the same people for so long and still haven't figured them out. And you don't want to hear nobody else say anything about your condition.
We don't. I'm gonna tell you exactly why we do not want to hear you. Because we stay in
Now
our
you're being
homeland and
clear that
fight.
you don't want to hear what I have to say.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Because we stay in our homeland and fight, and you flee from your homeland to come over here. We don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Really, to be
Hey,
honest
you guys forgive me.
being real with
Let me apologize to you guys. Let me apologize.
You ain't the
Give me one
same
sec.
type of person.
Give me one sec. Let me
We build up
apologize.
what we had.
Let me
You leave from
apologize.
your land and come to
Hey,
another one.
let me apologize to you.
Black
Let me
American
apologize. Give me one sec, okay?
ideas and everything
I'm
else
sorry
over here.
for putting
You
my
don't
mouth
own us to tell
into
that
you guys'
brother
issues, all right?
anywhere.
It's your issues.
He
You
can't
guys
speak.
deal with it. I'm sorry for putting my mouth in it.
Brother, my people thinking the way they think is the reason why you can bring your ass over here. Brother. So let us think.
Let me start. I gotta start mute. PCH rights, White Lives Matter. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, listen, it's not appropriate to talk to another man in a high-spirited way that's disrespectful, especially in front of community. We come out of homes where we're taught to be men and to grow up and to respect all men if we can get it, right? So why don't we able to do that in front of the world? I mean, there's something wrong if we can't do it with each other and we asking the world to respect us. They don't need to respect us if we can't do it with ourselves. And I'll be damned if I tell a brother that's African that he can't speak to me and my people over here. Without Africa, there could be no Africans. And without Africans, there could be no Black American, Caribbean American, or
Who
any
told
of
you
that.
that lie?
So why shouldn't we be able to communicate with each other?
Well, I mean, he can communicate. Hold, one second.
You can
One
isolate
second.
Black
Can I
Americans
interject
and
real
think
quick?
we're able to win.
Can I just
You
interject real
can't
quick?
win isolated.
Yeah,
We
listen,
cannot
sir.
win. They even have
Listen,
sundown
sir.
towns in Los Angeles right now.
No, I get you,
In
sir.
Los
I get
Angeles,
you,
brother. There are
sir.
places
I
you
get you.
can't go as a Black American.
Sir, I get you, but what we're saying, his individual mindset is not needed. Like, there's a reason why he left his land and came here or whatever. And also, too,
I'm not in America. What makes you think I'm there?
hold on. You went to the West. Okay, you went to the West. Okay, cool. You went to the West. Okay, cool. The main thing we're saying is that his mindset, talking about racism, spooky white people, do not help Black Americans at all. That's what
You
we're
have
trying to
no
say.
idea what
Well,
mind
he
I
didn't
have.
even get a
You're not
chance
a
to finish
single
what he was
idea my
saying.
mindset.
He
You
was
know, I
using
kind
it
of
as
beg to
some
differ, but
kind of
to
metaphor.
America First Rifleman's point, I agree with what he was saying totally. I grew up in Los Angeles in 1968. I remember South LA was pure Black, all Black. When they started to bring in Mexicans from Mexico to move into our neighborhood, they wouldn't talk to us. I used to wonder as a child why they wouldn't speak to us.
At
It was
all.
because they were being taught not to communicate with us. They brought that racism with them and they grew up with it. Now, check this out. After a while, they started to build their stores, to set up their little fruit stands and all that. They invested in each other. They never bring a dime to a store in our community. They never invest in any money. That further undermines and stresses our businesses. That's what
But
it
see,
does.
brother, we have to want to
Immigrants,
invest,
that's
bro.
what
We
happens
have to
with
want
immigrants.
to.
And the Democrats are opening the border. They want to do this. They are doing it. They did it in Los Angeles. You better look at this. We're all out in the deserts now. And they have our homes.
And y'all need to
Because
go
we
back
are
and watch
renters,
Joe
we
Biden's
don't
Zoom
own
call
property,
with the
and so we
Hold
are
on,
America's
one mic.
weakest link.
And
America's weakest link.
PCH
That's what we
rights.
are.
PCH rights. I'm from California too, and I
Yeah.
told Black folks, as far as what you just mentioned, that happened in that was going on in like Fillmore, that happened
Yeah.
in Richmond, that happened
Yeah.
in East Palo Alto, it happened in Compton.
Yeah.
You know, but for some reason, black folks east of the Rocky Mountains, they just think that they're a protected class. Oh, we in Chicago. It's a black city. We control this city. Hey, they gonna have to answer to us. They gonna have to answer to us.
That's the same thing they were saying in Atlanta, Dinus.
That's
the same thing they were saying in Atlanta.
Here's the real danger on the ground for our young kids growing up, just like it was for my friends and for me. Let me say this out loud.
Say it out loud, man.
The Mexican mafia put out an edict for all the collected gangs in Southern California to keep black folks out of their communities, even to firebomb our homes. They are doing it in every way. They racially profiled as the police did in white communities, and then they set up these sundown towns in their areas. The Mexicans did. You cannot go. If you go over there, you try to walk 10 blocks, brother, you will not make it out.
Hey, PCH, Ron, let me ask you a question, though. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Every black politician backed that. Every
Hold on,
black politician backed it.
Hey, let me ask him a question real quick. Let me ask him a question real quick.
Don't care for you either.
Hold on, y'all need to understand what he just said is what Democrat votes get you. Every city he's talking about is a Democrat city.
But brother, Republicans don't care for you either. At the end of the day,
They have nothing to do with it.
Who cares that they don't care about us, man? We trying to seal this border. I don't care if Republicans don't care about me. If I elect them to seal this border to keep these illegal immigrants out, who cares? Y'all always make that stupid argument that Republicans don't care about us. Why y'all keep making that argument?
Your people don't
You're in your feelings. That's why you make that argument. It's about policy. It's not about people caring about you. It's about policy, and the Democrats keep failing you over and over again, but they keep calling you kings and queens, and you keep voting for them.
First thing you say
because you're emotional.
Guys, one mic.
I haven't even got a time to talk.
I'm gonna pass it you after T. Khalid. Go ahead, T. Khalid.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that this ridiculous argument these liberals keep making, these black liberals keep making to maintain the stupid, ridiculous status quo of voting Democrat is these Republicans don't care about you too. So what? Whose policies is better? So what? If I get a Republican governor in Chicago and they're going to kick these illegal immigrants out and they're going to make better economic policies, I don't care if he likes me. That is a emotional, childish response. That is a female response. That is a man who wants to be treated like a woman and wants to be complimented all the time. You are a man. Who cares how you feel? It's about what policies put your people in a better position. And voting for Democrat, we are getting wiped out as a community. Like, it's so stupid. You guys want an influx of people who don't care about you, who treat you completely racist in your country, to then come in your communities and then outnumber you in your vote. And your only argument is that Republicans don't care about you. How stupid can you be? They are trying to seal the border. It's like, where's the logic in the black community?
No
logic. None.
It's all emotion.
Okay, if I may
respond. Let Jay. Hold on.
I didn't even get it. Put a word in.
Go ahead, Jay.
Now, when it comes to this, the crazy part about it is there's a lot of LA black folks, because I'm here in LA as well, man. And the funny part about it is when you tell them about the situation, they'll agree, yeah, the Mexicans run over me. Not run over me, but ran everybody out, firebombing. Gangs got strong, MS-13s, then got the machine guns from Obama administration, but still find a way to say, but I can't do Trump. I can't do Trump. Motherfucker would sound like Republican for a second. You thought, damn, this brother right here, okay. Then motherfucker will disappoint you by having his emotions. And to be honest, I don't even think it's a female trait. A lot of black men will argue down in them barbershops if you come down with this shit straight up, using all the CNN talking points, using all of, like homie said, all the Democratic angle talk. Matter of fact, we are so locked in on Trump where Joe Biden called LL Cool J a boy. He called the governor of Maryland a boy, Wes Moore. He called his chief of staff, Cedric Richmond, a boy. Where the black people turned up?
He Obama's homeboy, Jay. He Obama's
we don't
homeboy,
control the
Jay.
politics. We don't control the politics in this country. This is why that they can put freeways in through major.
No. I'm talking about the pushback, sir.
No. Wait. Listen to my point. Listen to my point. My point is this. My point is this: is that you don't control your people. Do not control the politics, and you don't control immigration. And the people that need immigration, I heard it quite clearly at a round table with Jamie Dimon and all of these CEOs of BlackRock and hedge funds and shit. They were sitting around this round table on watching the YouTube, and they were clearly saying America has the best markets in the world. And one of the reasons that we're able to have that and we rely heavily is on immigration. Well, there you go right there. We know the reason why that they could put freeways in our community.
So we just usher it in.
Wait a minute. No, the reason that they could do the thing that they've done to us as a people. We're not able to get loans. They've done all these things to our communities, right? All of these things that they're able to do to us as a people. And we're wondering why this immigration problem is happening, because this is what they want. This benefits them. Republicans and Democrats I'm talking about the people
you
run
get a loan if you have good credit. His argument is turn away.
I'm talking about the Federal Reserve. I'm talking about all the people who are running this
is
country.
Such a bad argument.
So
man.
when you overlook that,
he talking that spookism.
When you overlook the powers
this
that
is a bad
really
argument.
run this country, you're going to be playing political games and going, oh, these policies and these policies and these.
Such a bad argument.
But can I say this to respond?
This is so easy to respond to.
Whether there's been Democrats or Republicans,
can I say this to respond?
Wait a minute, I'm almost finished.
Okay.
All of these things that have been able to happen to us to keep us down as a people have happened, whether we've had Democrats or Republicans, is the reason why we have immigrants today. And we've had 400,000, probably 500,000 Ukrainians that have come into this country in the last 2-3 years. And they get a lot of money. They get a lot of benefits. So I'm saying nobody's complaining about that, though, really, as much as they are the poor immigrants who are affecting the
Nah, you just trauma bonding right now.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. You are trying to make an excuse.
Can I finish this? I don't know how you got that kind of spin.
My
argument
was.
Go ahead, Jay.
I don't get how that spin, but my argument is you're talking like you're the big corporation. You mentioned Jamie Dimon, the corporations want to usher this in, the money. Yes, I get it. But black people, when they say, well, the corporations need migrants, black people be talking like they got a corporation. They about to hire about 30 of them at Home Depot. Because I hear black folks that say, we need to work. We need labor. We need labor.
It doesn't benefit us, though. We're the proletariat. It doesn't benefit us. We're the ones who at this point.
But the thing is, if you got someone that says zero tolerance, Title 42, and have the situations where they go to Mexico to seek asylum, that helps the influx, man. We about to have 250 million people across the border, man.
They don't care.
Even
about
people
you.
in the continent knows that safe borders is necessary.
It doesn't matter. You are a non-issue.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? Our vote.
Bro, why do you keep trying to deflect? See, black people like you deflect from the issue. We're talking about the core of the issue, and you keep deflecting, talking about something else. We have politicians right now on the right coming up with a solution for the border. Yet you keep saying, ignore that, nobody cares. You see that this is a number one issue in America, yet you're trying to dumb down African Americans from listening to politicians that's actually putting policies in place. You're saying, ignore them. All hope is lost. Well, that defeatist mentality keeps the border open. This is why we don't listen to you. We are going to listen to the politicians. And yes, we do got the MAGA movement that's actually trying to build the border wall. We got Texas trying to secure the border. We're not listening to you. There are actually people trying to do something about it.
I believe in local
come
politics.
on, bro. Like you got people like Greg Abbott that's trying to make it clear.
What this guy does is this defeatist mentality to get us to ignore the issue. That's it.
It's the reality, because if we face reality, we won't be trying to look for reparations.
Can I ask you a question, man?
Would you want everybody?
We'll be trying to.
Hey, we need one mic. We need one mic.
Explain how he is delaying this deal that's on the table now. Explain that.
That's for me.
For another year, and we're going through all this drama. Los Angeles already lost to us. They're trying to take Chicago. They're trying to take New York. They're working on taking Denver and other places, and Trump has jumped up there for his own interest, I believe, and said that, no, don't take the deal. Wait till I run and win. Explain that to us. And then I'm not just
no, I got this one. I got this one. Let me tell you why that don't make no sense.
Yeah, that's an easy response, bro.
Let me tell you why that don't make no sense. If they bring it, PCH Ryan, if they bring it in 300,000 people in here every month, bro, just do the math on that. In a year, you say 300,000 a day? No, I thought it was 300,000 a month, but let's just say 300,000 a month. What I'm saying is that's 4.2 million. It's already 83 million here and 14 million in hiding. So that means that this year alone, that they numbers have went up to 103 million. And then the funny part is with the funny thing with you, PCH Ryan, is that you're part of the class. You're the part of the class that the older black people that sold us out. The older black people in America, all they want to do is sit next to white people at a restaurant and eat some motherfucking white only pies. So it ain't nothing that all the old people did in America is sold us out. That's all that they did. So you got a group of people that outnumber us, double outnumber us, and you got black people sitting up here with this defeatist mentality, sitting up here talking about don't worry about it. We need to vote local. You can go to any local election, any local anything. You won't see a black person in there. You go to the PTA, you won't see a black person in here. But we're gonna start at the bottom. We're gonna start at the bottom by voting for local electors.
These Negroes think it's a black and brown alliance. That's why, bro.
It has to be something, bro. Because I don't get it.
They think it's a black and brown alliance, bro.
But that what they think they're gonna help them with white people. They think they're gonna help them with
white liberal. We all allies against white supremacy, bro.
But do y'all not understand that only black people say that black and brown coalition shit?
Yep.
You don't even hear Latinos saying that shit.
They sure
only
don't.
black people.
Yep. Only the brainwashed people. Yep.
Only black men and black women, which is the right hand of white supremacy and old Negro spiritual, sit up there and talking about black and brown coalition because that was a think tank word that they sit up there and did and brought it out. And the only channels they push that on is MSNBC and CNN, and that's what most black people watch. So you got black people right out here now, and I'm telling y'all, I stay in Atlanta just like Diners, and I'm telling you, the Latino community have took over the construction business in Atlanta. What does that mean? That means the houses that you're going to live in one of the major, which is supposed to be a chocolate city, which black people are, which Atlanta is, that Latinos own the housing market. So when you were all these expensive ass houses, 400, 600, 800,000, that's generational wealth for them while you paying interest rates to the bank. You get what I'm saying? So that means that we're not saving anything. That means we're not saving anything. We're not making any. What's the lie?
And I hope it's
no. Listen, hold on, brother. This is what we were talking about earlier. Shy was trauma bonding, where he was like, the Federal Reserve, we can't get loans and all that. Okay, listen, there's already black-owned banks and financial institutions. That's number one. So we need to patron them, even though people don't want to do that, Shy. Okay, I know that you don't want to hear that. And on top of that, I'm sorry, a white man gave me a loan because I have good credit. So a lot of people on this panel and other places are able to get in the white credit system that you say that we're all shut out of. So that's kind of weird that you say that. So all you come up with is whataboutism and his excuses when we come with literal solutions to black people's problem, i.e. getting shut out by numbers economically by a group of people, and also immigration that hurts black youth unemployment. It hurts black youth unemployment or whatever like that. So there are solutions to get these people out and help them stay out. There's only one party trying to do that. And every time we talk about the solution, and it's twofold, security and economics.
Well, I'm
all in one go. But y'all keep talking, you PCH and all these people scare Republicans racism. You see,
Right.
when
I'm for the
we're tired
solution.
of this.
I'm for the solutions. However, we've got to look at the writing on the wall. We've got to
Why do
accept
you
the
keep
fact
saying
that
whatever?
no, it isn't whatever, because I have a point of view. My
Boy.
point of view is that if they wanted to stop the immigration, the system wanted to stop
Oh
immigration,
my
they would
God.
have
Oh my
stopped it
God.
a
Do you
long
hear
time
this
ago.
cat?
They would have stopped it a long time ago.
Oh
They're
my fucking
allowing
God. We about to
immigration
get full
because they
swept
want
praise because of this
immigration.
dude.
Wow.
They're
We about to
allowing
get
it
Do
because
replaced
they
you
with
not
want
praise.
it.
realize
Otherwise,
they
they would
all
have
have
stopped it.
until
Guys,
any
guys,
of the parties
let
you
let
work
me
with,
pass
you're
the mic
making
to
the
let me
white
pass the
man
mic to
Please
great.
pass it
You're
Casanova.
around.
making the
Casanova, go ahead.
American system
Hey,
great.
what brother? What mic? You still going? Casanova's in Chicago. Go ahead, Casanova. Unmute yourself. You're in Chicago.
Peace to everybody on the panel. I am indeed in Chicago. I just dropped in broadcast and I see the title to the broadcast, but it seemed like y'all have ventured far off. I don't even know where y'all at right now.
Koch, go ahead and talk about Chicago. Go ahead.
Get to the point.
So
Yeah, get to the topic, man. Go ahead.
Get to the point.
What's going on here in Chicago is basically you have migrants. They are starting to squat in abandoned buildings in Chicago, and this is something that the crackheads used to do. And I'm not sure who tipped them off and let them know that that's something that they can do. But if y'all don't believe me, there's a video going viral. I think it's on TikTok or something. You could probably locate it on YouTube. But there are migrants breaking into this abandoned building. It's like, I want to say like 30 of them. And after they break into the abandoned building at night, when they woke up in the morning, they started to clean the block up because they didn't want nobody to call the cops on them. So it's like, if you go to any grocery store in Chicago, there's like 3, 4, 5 of them in the parking lot. Hey, my friend, $2, my friend, me hungry. They're begging everywhere. It's sad. I don't want to see anybody hungry, but at the end of the day, they're moving in to areas to compete with black people.
Good for them.
Black people are upset, but they voted for this. They voted for your boy Joe Biden.
Voting for your demise.
When I hear niggas complaining, I kind of laugh because it's
listen, Cash. I don't kind of laugh. I laugh. Go ahead,
bro. Like I had to argue with people back in 2018 before this thing happened. They were. It was like they were foreshadowing it. Hey, look at what they're doing to brown people at the border. This is black and brown pride. They had this fake revolution thing out here on the corner. I had to go off on them. I'm like, no, this ain't no revolution. If it's gonna be a revolution, it's not gonna be televised like this, and it's not gonna be ran by a white man with blue eyes. So they've been pushing this thing. I have to fight niggas though, cause I'm yelling in a white man's face. Here come a nigga like, hey, you making the block hot. You making the block hot. Leave this white man alone. I literally, the white man, he looking at me like, hey, are you in the Nation of Islam? He trying to figure me out. I'm like, do I look Muslim? And after a while, he got up out of there. But the niggas was ready to fight me, bro, and it was females, and not no dudes. Let me clarify that. It was black females. So
it's always black females.
So when you see people like FBG Duck Mama complaining about the mayor of Chicago, I just say shut up. This is what you voted for. What you having right now is buyer's remorse.
Well, that's
But the thing is, they keep on doing it though. Like they don't
in New York
find a conservative Democrat. They don't find nobody that's somewhat like in the center. They just find the most progressive, far left bend of the candidate. Like here in LA, we got Karen Bass. We had Rick Caruso. I ain't gonna say Rick Caruso was gonna do numbers and just set the world on fire, but Karen Bass is like super far. It's straight commie, man. Like we go after the businesses, the investments, and wonder why people leave in California. And we do some
all they have to
stupid ass
do, listen.
counterproductive.
Hold on. Let me pass the Information Man show. I got some questions for him too. But Information Man show, go ahead.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
What's up, man? The situation is what it is. This situation, we've already been warned about this. Dr. Claude Anderson told us about this many years ago. I live in California. If you live in California, then you know that this problem didn't just happen today or what's happening in Chicago. This has been a slow, progressive to now it's becoming a speed up, progressive situation in California. And now what's been happening in California is spreading out to other places like Chicago, where you have these sanctuary states, which none of us voted for. In California, they never put it to a valid vote for us to say, let's make California a sanctuary state. I never voted for it, never wanted it. It's something that the Dems put in. When you look at Chicago, I'm sorry, you got to go all the way back to Harold Washington. Back in his day, he was also pushing a sanctuary ideology in Chicago. So you're all right. Black people are getting what they are getting because they failed to listen to people who were blowing the pipe a long time ago on what's happening. These people that come over here from the border, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. They don't give a damn about black people, which is why we got to stop using the word people of color and stop using this word about brown and black coalition. That's a myth. It's a lie, because these people come over here to compete, make money, take care of their families. And we've been warned about this. And black people are steady buying into this people of color nonsense. They vote in people in wrong positions that don't have our best interests. That's why the Dems are going to take a hit. They're going to take a hit seriously. And what I'm seeing here in California is that you guys also got to keep this in mind. Over in Mexico, they've said a long time ago that they want to take California back. Mexicans, Hispanics, they believe that California belongs to them. They want it back. And even the Mexican mafia has a green light on our black asses. I know this for a fact because of the kind of work that I do. So we've been catching hell, and we get what we get. Dinus, any other questions you had for me, brother?
Yeah, how's the reparations agenda or initiative going on?
Well,
how's that working out in California?
What's happening? You probably have heard that California has a deficit in the billions of dollars.
Of course, so they got no money.
And I think that's going to be I think that's going to be the excuse. What it is, $8 billion in California would take care the reparations payments to black people. $8 billion. But they're going to use the deficit, which is our tax dollars as well as other people, to make the excuses for why they cannot pay it. Now, you've got a Democratic mayor in San Francisco. When they were talking about having a reparations bill there, the mayor there, she's already canned it in their budget and said they ain't going to do it. She's already moved it off of their budget. So because they're claiming that they got money issues, we got money issues, so they claim. So right now you've got Asheville, North Carolina, they're now proposing a reparations deal, and that county in North Carolina is run primarily by black folks. So I don't know, brother.
What's interesting, man? I think that we are the only race that we elect black politicians who betray us for other races, because it's quite interesting watching Brandon Johnson continue to open up shelters for migrants, give them money, aid, everything. And then the black community is literally yelling at him to stop this, start looking at our way, but yet completely ignoring the black community with some Latino aldermen behind him talking about keep the border open. And we just got black people who we elect completely ignoring us for other groups of people. I don't think I've ever seen this happen with any other race. I don't think it can happen with any other race, nor will they be stupid enough to make excuses for it. Because this is wild to me. I've never seen
it. Let me ask you
an
important
question here.
Can I interject? Okay, there's a reason why, and this is my opinion, but I've seen it all over the country. It's because people have some type of racial resentment that is very like a chip on our shoulder. So all we need is a politician to come and act like they're going to dunk on or get back at white people, and that's it. So that's why back in the day we were like, oh, we for the Mexicans, or we for the people at the border, because it's like we think it's a form of, which it is kind of a form of getting it back at white people, but it just at the end of the day, they don't like us either. And I just don't understand how we don't understand this or internalize this very, very serious fact. So it's just really, we just, people say shit we like to hear and we vote for them.
Well, the thing is,
I grew up in California too.
I think it's a little bit more deeper than that. I'm going to make the argument that because I work in mental health. Black people have mental health issues. One of them is that we do not like each other. It is part of self-hate because we don't like ourselves. When you don't like yourself and you internalize things, you project it onto people that look like you. So we put black politicians in who don't do anything for us. They do everything for everyone else because deep down inside, we really don't like ourselves, and black people keep pandering to white people, to the great white hope to save us, to help us. And we're always trying to look up to them to accept us. And these black politicians do things to try to get accepted by the white power structure. They don't give a damn about you.
And this is what in the 80s, when I was a college kid, this is one of the things we identified in our people, in our community. And the corrective was supposed to be Black Studies. Black Studies was supposed to be the corrective. And it was the corrective. The only problem is it wasn't enough of that information going into our curriculums, into the public schools. That was the problem. So when I'm accused of being a Pan-Africanist and that we didn't do anything and things are messed up because of the way it is, I know exactly whose kids I'm talking to. I'm talking to people whose kids who didn't want to be Black when the word Black came out. And not even talking about African-American, that was a fight. And this is why we want to be Indians today. We want to be Aboriginals and all these other things because we do not want to identify with being African. So one thing I will say, though, growing up in a community that was 80% African-American and then split between South Pacific Islanders and Latinos, Mexicans, really, in East Palo Alto, California, is that when we were the majority, they were, everybody else was cool. And we were, somewhat in a coalition with each other to do certain things. But we realized as a people that we couldn't come to the multicultural table because our issues were so underserved and so, lacking behind. We became a city. And at that time, we became a city in 86, I think, 87, 86. We knew that it would be, that the writing down the wall is that Mexicans would probably eventually could take over eventually. And actually, that's what's happening now. We're down to probably about 14% of the population is African Americans, and Mexicans make up most of it. So that city we created
It's
out
around
of
4%
now.
It's around 4 to 5%.
4 to 5%. Wow, I haven't been home in a minute, but yeah, but that's the point. And what we did, we the things that we did do as a mostly Black population, we did a lot of things that were beneficial for us as a people, progressive things. We started, even in the 70s, we had a junior college called Nairobi Junior College. So we were doing progressive things, and there's stories of us doing these things all over the country. So we can't just sit around, we can't sit back and say, we've never done anything, we didn't do anything, and we don't love ourselves. We do. We just got, to me, the more that you get away from working on that kind of level of working locally for your community and your schools and your businesses, the more that you start dealing on a larger on these political levels that we don't control, even though we can influence it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't influence it. I'm saying, though, that we need to be working more locally to really.
But this is the
we're not ignoring the national though.
This is the problem. When you look at, I'll be short. This is the problem, brother. And we have to be honest with our issues. Black people constantly complain about why we don't have this and don't have that. What's the secret to it? We're not on code. We don't work together. We backbite. Nope. If I open up a business tomorrow and had a store, I'll have every Negro coming in the store saying, can I get a discount? But you don't tell the white man when he's got high prices Can I get a discount? We criticize one. Look, the black comedians can't even get along with each other, right? They arguing about who played a pimp or who got the role to play a pimp. Black people hate on each other. We got black people in America that hate on black people in the continent of Africa. We got black folks in the continent of Africa hate on us over here, and then we got black folks in the continent of Africa that may hate on each other due to tribalism. Well, we got tribalism in America, where black people hate on each other between the colors, light skinned, dark. That what I mean is, shortly, that's our problem. We're so caught up in the color complex. We have some internal hate for one another because we can't work together. Sometimes we can't work together. Some of us can, and a lot of us hate on each other. Look at the landscape of black YouTube. How many people, people who do content where they're talking about another black person that they're hating on.
Yeah, but
this is
not only that, brother. I don't like how he's telling us to ignore the national. We can do both because the problem is, it's Democrats voting for Democrat presidents who are voting to keep the border open. So I don't care how good your local elections is. It doesn't matter if immigrants are flowing in; they can flood your city. It's just that. When black folks make this argument, it's almost as if they're trying to low-key push the liberal agenda because they still have an emotional hatred for anything that's conservative, anything that's the right wing. So they low-key try to talk around the issue. Well, you got to look at the Rothschilds or look over here. No, we're looking right here at the issue. We're not looking over there. We see the issue in front of our face. Stop telling us to look elsewhere. Stop trying to information overload us. I see what you're doing. It's not going to work on us, man. It will probably work on some brain dead liberal, but you're not talking to stupid people.
Bro, I'm just
we
saying,
need to pay attention to what's going on in the national election.
I'm just saying, look at the macro and look at the
Hold
micro.
on, let me pass it to Wisdom Never Sleeps in the Philip. Go ahead, Wisdom Never Sleeps. I'll pass it to Philip. Go ahead.
A good day, gentlemen. Always a good conversation with most of you well-enlightened men come on the scene. I only have a couple of minutes really, and I have to go. First thing I want to clear up is that not everybody that was baby boomers, the older people, put this situation of black people to where it is today. The reason why y'all say that is a lot of people back then, a lot of them are waking up now and they're just waiting for the warrior class like you guys that they can help either fund or get behind. They don't always have the fight or energy because they have fought so long. And what has happened is this. They know there was mistakes made with this integration. The problem was most of them was trying to survive the onslaught of racism and things that happened and all the stuff they had to get through and build land and stuff to raise a family. So they was more or less trying to just stay alive in most cases while trying to strive together and that's why the black community was more together then. Today, what I see and what a lot of people see older is that now this generation just want to be liked, be loved, and belong by the white folk.
Ass kissers.
So that's a problem. And so then they say, well, the culture we have, well, you're not in culture if you're not even a family and cooking and things like that. It's more about the personal gain in this day and time and not the collective gain.
Right.
And that's a problem. So you can't expect a generation that was fighting just to stay alive and sometimes didn't speak up when they could have. Some of them died for where you are now, but they didn't die and fight for you to be liked and loved by your open enemy, as you call them. So you got to stop making excuses because we is generational separation and you also sex separation, you color, skin lightness separation, you keep it. And I'm so tired when I'm listening that I find a person that's supposed to be that's a male, that's supposed to be a man, that's supposed to be a warrior, making excuses for why we cannot move forward. That's not a fighter. You're the same people that would take the bag and sell your people down the river. You're the same people that get on your channels that need the following, so you have to talk the narrative. So it's just like Malcolm said about the lamb that's facing the fox and the wolf. The liberal is really the fox, the Democratic Party, because they come smiling, they're nice, they come in easy. The wolf growls, which you keep talking about Donald Trump, how he speaks and how this conservative speaks. but at least let you know he has a growl and he's coming. And if you don't want to defend yourself, he will take you and put you on the plate just straight up. But if you know that if he knows that you can battle and fight and he's ready to do whatever, you got a whole clan behind you, the wolf goes another way. Or he just lives, let you live, and he go live. So you got to understand, when men are talking, either you're going to talk with the man as a man, without excuses, or you're going to stay as a child in a male's body. And as long as you make excuses, you have become the effeminized, brainwashed male. Stop making excuses. Everything you come up with when you say but, and, are, this, that. I heard a guy talk to Candace Owens the other day. He said, well, I agree with you 110%, but, well, you just 110% just went to 95. So you lied before you could say you agree. So we have to say, you know what, over here, T and whoever else on the panel, or Philip, you know what, you got a point. Let me really listen to what you're saying, because what I've been thinking is different. Be open to be a warrior, because that's what you are here for. If you're afraid to fight, guess what happens? And so to correct somebody that was talking about the gangs in LA and the MS-13, what most of y'all don't know, Maxine Waters gave them the carte blanche to release themselves into LA like that, to run black out. Y'all just don't want to say what is happening. You do.
And they call her auntie, Wisdom. They call her auntie.
But they keep voting people in. You got rid of Lori Lightfoot, then you got over here Mr. Blackfoot, and he has still got you with no feet.
And reelected J.B. Pritzker, fat ass.
You got to stop this. You got to stop saying, at least guess what Trump and his administration did? They was willing to sit down and talk with somebody on the plan, and then you got black women saying, we're not included, we're not black, we're just women. So you want to separate yourself. In other words, if I'm your open enemy, this is one thing you forget about every other race of people, culture of people. When it comes down to what benefits the collective, all the individuals become a collective. Even when they disagree, if they got to fight for you to get those things, all y'all not fighting against the open borders. You say welcome them in because why? You want the Democrats to like you for liking what they're doing to you. So only thing is they're taking the room on Zaddy's lap and you're mad. They're taking the room on Zaddy's lap and you're mad. I'm going to say it one more time.
Tell them.
Said it 3 times.
Tell them.
Taking the room on Zaddy's lap and you are mad. You built the house for Daddy and Mommy, and they're moving other people in to your house, and you're mad. That's all you say. We built the country, but you didn't ever try to own the country. You have no ownership of anything of value that dictates policy. So when people talk about policy, you over here talking about pimping. They talk about policy, you talking about feelings. They talk about policy, it's an emotional response. Get out of emotion, because as a man, you should have more logical thinking as a warrior than that of a nurturing woman. And I'm going to keep listening, but I got to go drive, and I'm going to listen to the rest of you. Thank you, guys.
The problem is what Wisdom said.
But Tyrone, let me pass it to Philip first. Let me get it.
Yeah. Let somebody that's way smarter than me talk. Go ahead, Mr. Philip. You gotta unmute yourself, man. You're making me look smarter now.
Hey, everybody.
There you go.
To be on the panel. And it's a great conversation again, Dinus. Thank you for letting me have a couple minutes here. And look, everybody said something really smart about this. I think it breaks down to something very simple, and that is all our problems center around money and not having. And so when you start from that point, then you can go to these other things. Dinus knows I'm from Chicago. I don't know Brandon Johnson, but I do know one of the council members for the county who mentors him. He was one of my mentors. And I knew Paul Vallis personally, who was the guy that ran against Brandon Johnson. only because I worked under him in the law department for the public schools. And so basically what you had there was a situation where the Black vote was looking to try to maintain its position, basically. And they felt if Vallas came in, economically, they would be pushed out, which is likely. Only because he was taking the position that we're going to flip the economics of Lightfoot around. So inherently, if the Black supported Lightfoot, which they did against the other Black candidates, then the opposite of Lightfoot would be, by default, anti-Black. So what about that? Well, the reality of it was that during the time period pre this situation, when Harold Washington was in and he built his coalition, the Black communities did not build an economic infrastructure to be able to self-sustain. When they had access to state contracts and city contracts, they did not build a small business community, a banking community. There are no, and Dinus, we've covered this before, there are no more Black American banks in Chicago. The last bank was, they tried to get help from the Bank of Ghana, and the FDIC basically put them out of business. So basically where you are now is our economics are extremely weak. And because of that, then your position to be able to withstand this kind of challenge for basically access to labor with the larger city and state, you're very weak. And part of that weakness goes to something that Wisdom Never Sleeps got into, which is that our people in the 70s and 80s, we never transitioned from unskilled labor. So the reason why these immigrants are a threat to our community is because we're competing for the same jobs as someone who's unskilled. And when you had that kind of problem, then the natural market force would go to the cheapest labor, which is not us. And so here we are screaming, oh, it's our table, it's this, it's that. And it's like, wait a minute, what is the table? Who controls the table? And what table did you build for yourself? And in this regard, O'Shea was correct to go back to Claude Anderson. And Claude Anderson, as far back as the 80s, but I guess that clip that he shared was from the 90s, was telling Black people, you got to build a table, you got to build a table, you got to build a table. And what did we do? We didn't build a table. We relied on working with Mzungu Daddy and the government and all kinds of things. And now we don't have a table. We barely have the wood to even build one now. So it gets into this kind of weird phenomenon of how we neglected ourselves. And then there's this weird thing now, in my view, where we think we're going to vote our way to freedom. And that to me is crazy talk, because I can point to right now 3 groups that have smaller numbers than us and have more political influence. One is the small hat, another is the Saudis, and another is the Asians. All 3 of those groups have lower populations than the Black population, but they have more influence on our political system than us. How is that possible?
Philip, check this out. Let me add this point to what you just said. The 3 groups that you just said surround the Black community in businesses. They surround, like the 3 groups that you just said, surround the Black community with their business. We talking about gas stations, we talking about eateries, and we talking about financial, all the pay here, buy here, pay here, cash for puns, all of that by those 3 groups of people. Go ahead and continue, my brother.
Yeah, I'm just trying to point it out that the core of this is money, and we don't have it, and we're not doing the things to build it collectively. We basically, as Claude Anderson has said, we've got a bucket with a hole in it. And so the money that we do accumulate, it goes right through the bottom of that bucket. And because of that, we're catching L's. And when people try to say, hey, we have to patch that bucket, then those people are attacked. They're said, oh, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. And the bottom line is in the infighting within ourselves, we never patch the bucket. And so to the point of Dynas's channel, and basically the cure is, look, it is my view, and people can disagree with me. America is a group economics country. Every group that's in this country congeals around themselves and the home country that they came from.
True.
Crazily, Black Americans are trying to congeal around the country that enslaved them rather than the country that they came from. So you have this conundrum where you actually came from countries and kingdoms, and you deny that and say, no, I came from the place that enslaved me, which is bananas. I don't understand.
Okay. But can I give you just, I don't know if it's really pushback, but let me just give a point here. You made a really good point when you said that other people come over here and do group economics. Now, you do know that people who come over here from other countries that can do that group economics, they also get a leg up in America. They get programs. I know it for a fact. I've talked to them. Okay, you do know that these people get set asides. These Saudis that have come over here, all those people that came over that they're bringing over here, they got them in Chicago. You notice in Chicago they're talking about all the people from Venezuela, right, who came over, but they're not talking about those Arabs that they brought over, who they've already given housing and are giving them programs to give them a leg up. So these groups come over here with their language, their culture intact. They know where they are. They can go back to the country that they came from if they choose to. In some cases, they have things intact. When you talk about Black America, even though we may come from the continent of Africa, many of us don't have knowledge of self. In some cases, don't know exactly where we came from. Don't have any connection to the place that we originally were brought here from. So you can't make that comparison because it's not a fair comparison, because of the fact that most of these groups that come over here are getting set-asides that this country has never given us.
Trauma bonding.
So, and I'm just saying that not to be harsh or anything. I'm just saying these other people do come over here with a flag from another country, and their culture is intact. They weren't in a slavery, and they did not get destroyed through not having any generational wealth. Because Black people, our problem, and you said it, is economics, and we don't have, unfortunately, generational wealth for a whole host of historical reasons. But I'll land my plane there.
No, it's a beautiful point, and let me respond to your point. Right off the top, we both agree that the problem is money. Now, with regards to infrastructure from the culture, that we have had opportunity, we're the most represented minority group in the country. The problem is when our people get in, if you want to call them ours, because there's a debate there, that we don't take advantage of the government contracts and create incubators for our people. We don't take the state infrastructure and state and city contracts and build up our communities. Instead, we serve, and this is, I think, the point of the show, we serve every other community but our own. And to say that we did not have a culture intact, so on and so forth, listen, you can take a DNA test for $150 and it'll trace all the way back to your tribe. Dynas goes through it all the time and helping people get their passport in Sierra Leone. That's not an excuse anymore. What also is not an excuse is starting as early as the 1970s, we had Black after school. And I'm a little bit older than most of the people on the panel, but I remember, I am 53 years old.
Okay, sir, I'm older than you. I've been around for a minute too.
Okay, so then you remember.
I'm about I'm about a year or two older than you, but I remember what you're talking about. I'm not in denial of it.
The after schools, and they were teaching Swahili and doing math tutoring.
Yes, sir. I agree with that.
Okay,
I agree with that.
But we walked away from it. We walked away from it in the 80s, and we never returned until now.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
No, correction, Mr. Phillip. We didn't walk away from it. The black community didn't want it. It was in Georgia also. I remember I was born in the 70s too. We didn't walk away. The kids was happy doing that. It was the parents that didn't want their kids learning Swahili. I remember my auntie saying that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't speak that bullshit language here. Y'all American. I remember that. It wasn't that walked away. It was the black older community that's older than
reason
that
why
didn't want it.
You know the reason why that was the narrative that was also pushed? Because remember, the older generation pushed the narrative. Black people were pushed a narrative that if we only go to college and get a degree and get advanced education, that we would finally be accepted in this society and that would give us generational wealth. When we're finding out now, that doesn't mean that you're going to have generational wealth. So we got away from our traditions.
That's called.
So I would agree with you. I agree.
Can I hop in on that? That we forgot the second half, which is somebody's got to employ you with those degrees. And if we don't have businesses and clients, then you can forget about the use of the degree. You got to fight head up with the other groups for what's on their table rather than the table that you built for yourself. So everybody remembers where we were and now where we are. And so we got all this crazy talk now about, well, it could be this, it could be that. Here's the bottom line, family. The bottom line is it costs $1.5 million for an American retirement. And if you don't figure out how you're going to offshore and get your act together about this money, you're going to be priced out the country. You got priced out of California. You're soon to be priced out of Illinois. I go back between both. I'm in Chicago. I was just in Chicago over Christmas. And everybody there is sitting stunned trying to figure out what's happened to the economy. Let me tell you what happened to the whole Midwestern economy. It was offshored. And with that offshoring went your jobs because you were unskilled labor. So if you don't have skills to bring yourself back online, of which a lot of our people are not focused on that right now, then you're in trouble. You got to move somewhere cheaper. You got to look at Gary. You got to look at Milwaukee. You got to look at, Akron and things like that are cheaper because you can't afford to stay in Chicago anymore.
But then you end up getting pushed into areas that you just named, sir.
Correct.
For a lack of a better word and disrespect, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but those are communities that are not really great communities that don't have lots of resources and they have high crime, unfortunately, that you'll be pushed into.
I'm with you.
Okay.
That's why,
and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's the other sad part to it. That's all.
What our people are doing. They're leaving Chicago by the droves and trying to find smaller cities and these cities that are on the collars outside, like O'Shea showed the lady who's in Dalton. Dalton is a south suburb of Chicago, and that they're moving there because it's cheaper. And also when they tore down the projects in Chicago, they gave vouchers. The CHA, which is the Chicago Housing Authority, gave vouchers for people to move into these lower priced communities. But you know as well as I do that if you have too many of those people, you have no tax basis to pay for the infrastructure. So then you are basically begging your way through from the state and the city and the county to be able to afford the basics like school, roads, all of this stuff. You need a certain amount of wealth to be able to keep your city going. It's just common sense stuff. But at the end of it, it's money. And our people don't seem to want to narrowly just focus on money and this other stuff we can work on. But if you look at the three groups that I mentioned, they're not worried about this election because either way, whatever party wins, they win.
They win.
The small hats, the Saudis, the Asians, they're not, you don't see these politicians running up into the dojo to go talk to that martial arts teacher to make sure he comes out and votes. They don't give a damn. Why not?
But
Because it
they'll
doesn't
go
matter
to a
who you.
cookout. They'll go to a cookout and they'll go to some bullshit with black people at in a church. You know what I'm saying? Where a rich nigga reading scriptures that throw a handkerchief up in the air and spin around and do a split and catch it in his asshole. You know, that panders to black women. That's what, man. I'm telling the truth today, man, because this it upsets me because the funny part is that a community would never, we only go who leads the community. And right now in our community, I don't care how strong of a man information man is, information man show is. I don't give a damn how strong as a man is Prince Dynasty Ramirez and the rest of y'all. It is times 100 super ultra beta males out here that's booting up the same way that black women are for the Democratic Party. You get what I'm saying? Our voice is gonna get drowned out. If we were sitting up here pandering, you know, so doing the wobble, walking around, acting belligerent, then we would get it because that's what we like. Same way we like to see black men in dresses. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, the black man is doomed because of the black man is weak. The black man is intimidated. Hold on for a second. This is the last thing. The black man is intimidated by the black woman, not by the black woman's success, not by the black woman degrees, not by the black woman finances, but they see that all the system. This is the only thing I agree with the guy when he was saying the system. The system is boosting black women up to the point that black women are asking for something separate, even though these simps are still sitting up here trying to prop her up on a pedestal. The black woman is asking for something separate for themselves because they don't want to be associated with black men, and I don't blame them. You get what I'm saying? See, the only thing, I said this on the show the other day, most black men, not the ones on this channel, not the ones that's entrepreneurs, the most black men offer black women is dick and death. You get what I'm saying? Are you going to be a battle bot? Are you going to be a Swiss Army knife? Can you cash out her $40? Can you send her some money so she can buy some 38-inch Peruvian wavy natural kinky? You get what I'm saying? Other than that, she doesn't need you. You're not offering her no jobs. You're not offering her no type of financial business. You're not building no homes. You get what I'm saying? And that's where they go. The only problem, and I'll say this with all due respect, black women, the only problem black women has is that they don't know how to turn off that masculine energy when they meet these other group of men. You know what I'm saying? So these other group of men won't accept them because black women ain't smart enough to turn down that masculinity. You get what I'm saying? Now, you got dumb black men. They love to have a woman telling them what to do. You know what I'm saying? Why they making some feet, telling them where to go, looking all up on it, to the point that you have black men sitting up there talking about, man, she crazy. Crazy girls got the best box. That's how ignorant we are as a people. And it hurts me to my heart that in my business, from a person that been on the street since he was 14 years old, went from prison to now operating my own business to the point that I can't hire nobody. I hate that about myself, that I got a business where I'm grossing over $200,000 a year and I can't hire nobody. I wish that I could come together with like-minded black men, but black men will be sitting here talking about who getting the most pussy. You know what I'm saying? Who in charge? That's one thing I noticed when I go in those contracts with these people with doing these international shipping information man show. I see that these white people will go in there. They don't care who makes the money. They don't care. They're worried about their bottom line. They're not worried about who the face of the product, who getting the most attention, who getting the most likes. You got
that gets back to what I had said. That goes back to what I said earlier.
I'm finna end it with this. I walked out of the meeting. I'm just conducting a simple $20,000 a month contract. I seen white boy figureheads when they walking out these shipping containers meeting, going out there in the parking lot, talking to some old decrepit white dude that got fucking veins and tubes coming out of him in a car, where they go to the yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. See, white people don't mind sharing the wealth, because they have so many things that they're investing in. Just like me, information man, I'm only invested in one thing, so I can't afford to pay nobody. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's
I
the
hear you.
problem with us. Go ahead, my man.
No, I was just going to say, you said a lot that goes back to what I had said from the beginning. That plays into a lot of the self-hate that we have for some of ourselves and ourselves. This is generalizing here, of course. But let me just ask you this. Are there black men that you know currently right now? Well, of course, you know some. You got Dynas on here and others on here. But are there black men of like-mindedness like yourself that you connect with? Because I'm a believer that it ain't going to take the majority of us. It's always going to take a small number of people who think different, move different, and have a more revolutionary mindset. You can't expect the totality of our people. Some of them, I'm sorry, we have to leave behind if they're not going to make a change themselves. When we try to present, this is the information. Just like I said, Dr. Claude Anderson presented the reality to the black community years ago, and black people didn't take heed to it. Some did and some didn't. That's just the reality. We ain't gonna save everybody.
You got to work with those who want to work with you. And when I was coming up, that's what we did. And it was not just African Americans, it was other groups, but our core was for our people. And we would come together at certain things, we do a community event and, they support Juneteenth, do different things. And when Cinco de Mayo came, we would, support them in some kind of little way. But the main thing is that we were in there and it was always a core. It didn't matter who it was in terms of black folks. We didn't have issues with if you're from the Caribbean or if you're from Africa. It didn't matter. We would just get in there and do the work. Now, one thing I can say, though, is that they nicknamed us Little Nairobi, right? It wasn't our official name. In fact, when we had a vote to become a city, it was only 2,000 people that voted, a little over 2,000 people. Almost, we lost by 200 votes. I mean, we won by 200 votes to become a charter city. That means half of the people in an unincorporated area would rather have stayed in an unincorporated area and gotten services from San Mateo County than have our own water department, fire department, police department. This is the mentality that we have to face, that's what we're going to have to deal with. And truth of the matter is that Nairobi, Kenya was an honorary sister city. Had we really done something with that, I don't know how far we would have gotten with, the United States, blocking it or whatever. But those kinds of things can be done where we can, think globally and think of in our local, in our local areas, how we can do business with other areas in the United States and even internationally. The whole thing is, guys, that a lot of the information that I'm talking about that was really a renaissance at the time when I'm older than all y'all, was slowly this sort of dismantled or they were fighting our programs and our curriculums. We're instituting Black Studies curriculums throughout the country, and it was a fight to maintain them, to the point where we've lost a lot of them because of being under attack. And this is the constant attack that we face in this country, not just economically. So a lot of the things that we've done, we don't even realize a lot of things that we've done that have been under attack that undo the stuff that we've done. So while we're in this country, we have to realize that not only do we have to come together and organize and do things, we'll be constantly under attack while we're in this country.
Very well put, brother.
Go ahead, T. Unmute yourself, T, and then we'll start.
I mean, just like no, and I get it, man. I just wanted to just because it looks like you coming to a conclusion. Just back on topic on the immigration situation. It is kind of frustrating that our people have to learn the hard way. Because I remember when Trump was running in 2016, and I live in Texas, and I'm telling you, Black folks in Texas, man, although they may not like Trump and vote Democrat, they all say the same thing. But I do agree with Trump with building that wall. We got to do something about this immigration issue. But when you talk to these Negroes from New York, Philly, or Chicago, this was back before Texas was shipping them out. They would tell black folks here that we're just lazy. We just don't want to work. Illegal immigrants aren't doing anything but picking oranges and stuff like that. So they had an ignorance to them because they will watch TV and then they will tell other black folks to just accept it because they're not dealing with it. But now when they're dealing with it, now they want to cry about it. Now they want to complain about it. And it's the problem is we always want to learn the hard way. And then we're over here pushing for policies that don't help us out at all, thinking that there's some stupid black and brown coalition and all the black and brown folks are going to form up like Voltron and attack white supremacy. That will never happen. That is a white liberal lie told to the Negro so the Negro can justify himself being replaced by illegal immigrants.
Wait, can I say
but the saddest part is that black people go for it. Like, do y'all not understand? Do y'all not understand this? Y'all not understand that we're living in a times where we got to explain something simple. Like, it shocks me how black people know it all, got all this intuition, all this discernment, but then every 2 or 4 years, they come around talking about somebody raising. I was watching The View the other day by mistake. You know what I'm saying? And I heard Whoopi Goldberg, big booger wolf looking ass, sit up there talking about, see, y'all gonna be back in chains. Like, who the fuck would believe in some stupid shit like being like, and you had people out there talking about, that's what's gonna happen. Y'all gonna be back in chains. Like, do you understand the simplicity of the black mindset to think that some type of way that we would end up in chains in any type of situation in America? Like into this day, that we can end up in some type of change, but it doesn't matter because just like Malcolm X said, some type of weird ass way we look up to celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Because the type of people that we are, we don't raise our kids up to be anything other to be social media darlings, entertainers. Like black women, there are 2 ways that black women hit the lottery: if their kid die from getting shot by the police, or he make it to the NFL or the NBA. Those are the 3 lottery tickets for black women, and that's where they promote their kids. Or he be a rapper. He'd be a rapper, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, in 2 or 3 years, unless he's like a super duper famous one, he's gonna end up dead because all we talk about is the ops. The ops, the ops, the ops. And I had this conversation with my family members. I said, when you talk about the ops, or you talk about anybody other than black people, you know what I'm saying? And he sat there just looking stupid, and I was embarrassed to have the same blood as he has. And he's like, man, you know what? I never thought about this, man. We always, when we talk about us, we might as well say niggas. He said we might as well say black people, because that's the only people that we are projecting our anger at. When we walk into these other establishments, we walking there with a smile on their face. Yeah, you might have somebody running there and steal a pack of potato chips, steal some potato chips and run out with a case of beer. But for the most part, black people love these people that sit up there in their neighborhoods for 24 hours in a store, or 12 or 14 hours a day in a restaurant, or 12 to 14 hours a day in a beauty supply shop, or 12 to 14 hours a day in a nail salon. Matter of fact, you have black women will not go to another person unless she's Asian descent. Black women will not go to another hair dealer unless it's from Asian descent. So you have the black women that's out here selling it wholesale, but these black women are getting robbed right here in Atlanta. Black women are getting robbed, getting their houses, doors kicked in. You know what I'm saying? About weave. Black men are dying on the streets about iPhones and Jordans and 4-wheelers and scat packs. And it's all. Hold on, this is the last point. This is the last point. This is the last point. It's okay. I understand, y'all. We sit up here and talk about what we need to do, but only thing that I keep telling, only thing I keep hearing when I keep hearing that it's something that we need to do, it's like we got to start from the bottom, and everybody else is already light years away. So the conversation just keeps telling where we need to start, where we need to start. We ain't even got our shoes on. We ain't even got on the proper running attire. And we
That's
still talking about
optimistic.
where we got to start.
Well, thank you for being so optimistic.
I wanted to say this, High Value Tyrone, and T dropped off. But I feel that we got a silver bullet this issue. If the United States wanted to solve its immigration problem, meaning undocumented workers coming into the country and working, they could solve it overnight, just the way that every other country that solved immigration did it, which is to have extremely high penalties on employers that hire undocumented workers. That and a very strict visa requirement. That's how they have solved it all over the world. The fact of the matter is the United States, meaning the people that pay for these politicians, both Democrat and Republican, they don't want to solve immigration. They like the undocumented worker because it brings the cost of labor down. The end. And so to pretend that either party is going to solve this is just not true. And we as Black people at this time, we don't have the time anymore to focus on this. That what we need to focus on is money. High Value Tyrone, you laid your finger right on it, brother, that you have groups that are involved with the shipping and intermodal shipping that are basically running that show. You don't see a lot of Black people in that area. And even worse, our people are not in a position where they can go in it, meaning they are not prepared to be that kind of worker, which is essentially what you were saying. You couldn't hire them because they aren't ready to do the job. That is the problem. The problem is money, training, family. If you don't have a family that can structure themselves in such a way to produce children that can work in Black-owned companies, then we can't take the next step forward. I was happy to see in the back chat that the Bank of Ghana that helped the last Black bank in Chicago was resuscitated, but it's obviously on life support. And my point is, these are the things that we need in order to be able to grow. You need a bank. You need multiple banks so that you can put your money there and circulate it. You need institutions. You need families. If you don't have those things, then all this other stuff is just discussion points. It's not. And I bring this
exactly.
I bring this up to say this. Immigration law is decided by the executive branch with the consent of Congress. It is not decided by mayors. It's not decided by local politicians. And if you have any questions about that, this guy that was in New York, the mayor of New York, and he started pushing back on the National Party about the sanctuary city and this, that, and the other. Now he's under federal investigation. So he know about stuff with his federal issues before he started talking about the immigration issue? Nah, man. They were like, look, brother, you need to understand that our donors are paying us to make sure that this ends out a certain way. And we don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, we're going to make sure you're not going to be around if you talk the wrong kind of way about it. So we as Black people need to see that and to say, look, how do we get more power? We've got to focus on money, not on the politics. We've got 1 million Black politicians now. They don't help us because we don't own them. They were not put in office by Black donors. We understand that, right? All these people we talked about, Maxine Waters, you name them, the lady down in Texas, I forget what her name is, that sponsored the reparations bill. We don't own those people. They're paid for by their donors, which are mostly non-blacks. So let's get past that point and get to the center of the circle, which is helping people like High Value Tyrone have people from his community that he can hire.
I mean, it's entrepreneurship. That's the only thing. What I'm saying is that if you want to hit a quick fix, what I'm saying is that listen, Shaw, I heard what you said earlier, man, and I agree with the local politics and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is that we're so far behind that that's not going to put a dent in it. Like the thing about it is, you got to understand that it's already 100 million of them. It's already 100 million. We're only 42 million. And out of let's just say out of 42 million black people, you know what I'm saying, 30 of us stick together. 30% of us stick together. 30% of us is entrepreneurs. If it's 100 million of them, and just like Dinah said, when they come over here, they either entrepreneuring or either they working for white people. You get what I'm saying? And they stick amongst each other, and they spend their money amongst each other. Right then and there, that's the three ingredients for takeover. That automatically kills the black people right then and there. Because one, we don't stick together. Two, we don't spend our money with each other. Three, we're not entrepreneurs. They got all of those three things going for them, and they stick together. And you want to notice the best thing about Latino people, Shy, is that Latino people never get tired of eating tacos and burritos. They will go and buy tacos, burritos. Say that again, sir.
I had a burrito for dinner just a minute ago.
See what I'm saying? But they do it every day. They patronize each other every day. We don't do that because what we make for each other is slave plates. You know what I'm saying? Liquid diabetes tea. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn diabetes cut off your feet, lemonade and tea. You know what I'm saying? We eat goddamn pig innards. You know what I'm saying? Charging $20 for it. So the stuff that we feeding each other is sodium based. What they cooking their people is straight off the grill. We cooking in saturated fat to each other, calling it soul food. And on top of that, Shy, soul food don't got so expensive, but you can go to a soul food restaurant, but they charging $30 for an oxtail plate. $30. You can go in a Mexican restaurant, a Mexican place to get something to eat, Shy, and see anything on that menu over $30. It's going to be something in there you can eat if you have minimum funds or a lot of funds. At black places, even the vegan restaurants.
$20 will feed you 2 people out here. Where I live, $20 at a Mexican place will feed 2 people.
That's what I'm saying. And you go into a black establishment, a soul food restaurant, or a vegan restaurant, you barely get a smoothie and a goddamn spinach goddamn what you call the things, the pies that go in the oven with the Jamaicans have. That you get nothing for that type of money. So we're overcharging each other for bullshit ass food in our community that we don't eat every day. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that they have it in their system to where everybody can promote their business from the smallest person to the largest person as far as economics. We don't have that in our community.
Can I throw this to you, High Value?
Go ahead, my brother.
Because you're raising a great point, and Dynas's channel and people like yourself, the solution is, look, Mexicans have a supply chain from Mexico and Latin America. Black Americans need a supply chain from Africa and the Caribbean and Black Latin America. It's that simple. They can, if you go in your grocery stores, depending on which ones you go to, they label on there where the produce and different things come from. And a lot of it is coming from Latin America, so they get it cheaper, and then they have their own trucking. You know, what happens with Black businesses, not all of them, but many of them, is somewhere along the supply chain, we have to rely on Mzungu hands. And whether it's the refrigeration or it's the storage for inventory, or it's the trucking itself, which is your business, High Value Tyrone. And because when it goes into the Mzungu hands or into markets that are controlled by Mzungus, then we wind up having to pay more, and then we pass that price along to our consumers. Also, that we are in a place where we usually are overpaying for rent in the location of the store unless we own it, which we generally do not. We generally are renters, and so we're paying a lot of money for the lease of the place where our business is, and then we overpay. But that's not an excuse for what I would consider, in talking to people like yourself, of some of the issues we have of hiring our own people, of having our people that are trained and ready to work, and that will respect our business in a way that we can have them and trust them in the business that we have when we're not there. I hear it all the time from friends of mine that have small businesses, the kind of difficulties they have with us as their labor force. And that's what you touched on, High Value Tyrone. And I want to toss it back and say, look, this is what Dynas's channel is about. Now, obviously, we have to deal with some of these people that are in leadership in some of the African countries, but we need supply chains. We need a circulating economics that helps raise us, and to stop looking to these Mzungu sources of resources that we know are not coming because we got nobody to represent us. The people that are.
If Walmart was to shut down for 3 days, black folks would go crazy. You get what I'm saying? The problem is that black people don't even have enough food in their kitchen or cupboards for 3 or 4 days of things that they want to eat. Of course, there's some beans that been in the back that got some rust on the bottom that you wasn't gonna eat anyway. You get what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that this is the sad part about the workforce. Sometimes we have these containers, they might fall over and they might have to reship things or get things. So, man, they go bring these workforce day labor people in there, paying them $15, $20 an hour, man. And it always shocked me when they get the Latinos and the blacks in there, that the Latinos, even though they don't understand, they look for whatever Latino that has a hold on it, the situation, and everybody mimics him, Philip. Everybody mimics him, Dynus. You get what I'm saying? The black people just sitting over there, standing around looking crazy on their cell phones. The Latinos, even from the ones that don't know, they look for it's almost like when you think about a bee colony or an ant colony. They look for the one because they don't speak. You'll be shocked. They don't even speak English. They look for the one that know how to speak English, that can understand them. He relayed down that message, and I see him. I sit right in my truck. You know what I'm saying? Watching them, how they relay the information down one by one, and they move as a unit. And let me tell you something, they don't get all these Latinos at the same day labor spot. But when they come to a work site together, they all get together in a group and they pick out who's gonna be in charge. And when they pick out who's gonna be in charge, it ain't no questions asked. They all eat together. They all sit over there, they take their break together, and they already, before even break time is over with, they're already standing back over there ready to work. The black people, you got to go look for them. You ain't been coming out there licking their fingers and shit.
They sitting in their car.
They sitting in their car listening to Sexy Red, and we talking about the dudes. So this, all I'm saying is this. I have no problem with us trying to boost ourselves up. But we got to understand, y'all, that the numbers are the numbers. It's 42 million of us, it's 100 million of them. Then let's just stop right then and there. And just like Dr. Claude Anderson said, if you didn't get reparations when you the second minority, why in the hell you think they're gonna give you a check for 18 billion? I forgot what the weird amount is they keep saying.
Like 7 trillion.
7. Why the hell would they give the fourth minority that votes for them, that you got black men sitting up here just bending over backwards, you know what I'm saying? And you got females sitting up here. You want to know the funny thing is, before Dinus end this program, is that you don't even hear black women begging for a check, talking about cut the check. Don't get me wrong, there are some. It is more black men sitting up here talking about cut the check, cut the check, cut the check. Black women are out there doing. So this is the point, y'all. I know y'all thought that I hate black women, but it's not me. It's the simps that'll bust you upside the head. It's the simps that'll stalk you. It's the simps that'll call your phone 30, 40 times a day. It's the
Black
simps
women is
that'll follow
God.
you to your mama house. Hustle Smart don't care where you go. Hustle Smart don't care where you're busting wide open at. You know what I'm saying? Long as you bow down to your knees like you bow down to white Jesus when you come to my house, that's all I care about. I'm the type of guy that's out of sight, out of mind, because my mind is on the money, literally. And I got 2 leeches of a kids that
Hustle
count
Smart.
on me.
Hustle Smart. Can I say this before you get off? Because I've been very quiet and let a lot of people talk for a long time, because I wanted to get this in. And the original thing, when we started disagreeing with PCH, whatever his name is, and that other brother, and I'm gonna push back on Information Man a little bit. This is why I've been coming on these channels for like damn near 2 years now, because people like Philip, even though I disagree with him on a couple of issues, but the main thing is he's always been economics based. And unfortunately, we saw that clip with Claude Anderson where we're pretty much an underclass now. So we are our own biggest problem. Okay, that's number one. So when we have people that come from Africa and we have people already in our country, like that brother PCH that was telling us all about the demise of black people in towns and how the Mexicans came out with the sundown towns and all that. Well, we literally were telling that brother for a long time, well, you voted for that. And the first thing he says, but Republicans. But all this and the Information Man, even him, he's like, but they have carve outs for these other people that come into our neighborhoods, you know, the Hispanics and the Arabs and the Koreans that, you know, service our communities and all that. And it's just like, well, that doesn't matter, because every time like the African brother, he started talking about racism and white people. They talk about but Republicans, but all this, the software and our people are off, bruh. Like we said, if we ain't talking about economics, it's talking BS. And I've had the same reaction when I go to these groups, these local black groups in the Pacific Northwest. All they talk about is race and gender and identity stuff. Whenever you talk about hard, tangible stuff, especially for the youth, they lose their mind. And this is mostly black women that are educated or whatever. So what I'm saying is, if we're not willing to go to Africa and work with people already there or whatever, then we're done. Because then the last thing I'll say is, we also have to guard against certain mindsets. Screw where they're from. When they come over here, and I'm talking about smart Nigerian doctors or engineer from Cameroon or whatever, the people that are coming into the system, if
my doctor's a Nigerian, and I love
my
him.
my doctor for like 3 years now is a Nigerian guy or whatever at the VA. Really great, smart man. And guess what? He ain't talking about racism. But main thing I'm saying, we have to guard against people that have skill sets that can benefit us, but they're talking about BS stuff like racism and all this other stuff, and they're not talking about economics, then you need to get rid of them. You know, not get rid of them, but get away from them. So that's what I'm saying. Like when Information Man was on some, oh, they got carve outs for them other people. What do you expect them to do when they already have people in country that have an infrastructure, a political infrastructure, and they get funded by their own people at the local level? What do you think they're going to do when they're in Congress? So that's what I'm talking about. Like, we need to stop saying, looking at other people, oh, look what they got, or look what they did, or the system this. We literally have the infrastructure to do the same thing, and we refuse to. And that's the last thing I'm gonna say. We refuse to do what is tangible, and it's economics. Like I said, if y'all keep talking about white people and racism and all these other people, then it's a losing deal. Economics first, and then all them other issues second, third, fourth, and fifth. And I land the plane.
we can't talk about what they have when we always scream about we got $3 trillion spending power at America First Rifleman, Diners, chat, community. We always talking about other people, but we quick to brag about the $3 trillion that we give away. Black people spend 85% of their paycheck. 85% of their paycheck is gone by Wednesday.
That's crazy.
That is a crazy. This is just the way it is. So you had these brothers up here. So I was in the chat. I just saw it saying dynasty because I heard these Democratic talking points. Because I drive all day, y'all. So I listen to Red Eye Radio. I listen to CNN. I listen to MS. I listen to all of that. And when you heard these guys talking, they wasn't repeating nothing that they knew. Everything that they was saying was word for word was what CNN tells them. Like the guy was saying that Trump said something racist, but these guys don't went back 20, 30, 40 years about something. You get what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what.
I'll give you another example real quick. I was having a conversation with black folks about like housing, like there's a housing crisis, and I was telling them because they went on the whole redlining and they stopping us and all. I was like, I get that. But we need to have our individual finances good so we can get these good places, because I'm like, you only should spend about 30% of what you make on your housing. So you need to adjust and he's like, nigga, you think you so smart.
Mm-hmm. No, let me tell you something. I had somebody tell me, because let me tell you something. They asked me a question about the trucking industry. And when I told them something, they started telling me about something that they heard. And I was like, well, no, that ain't it. The person that was asking me the question had the nerve to tell me, man, you think you know everything. And I was like, bro, I would rather know what I'm talking about than to be dumb and ask a question and then fight against the answer that I'm getting. And that's how black people are, because we're emotional like that. That's why these guys were saying all this shit, talking about shithole countries. I call countries shithole countries. So does that mean I'm racist? Like, it's the weirdest thing in the world. So we had a guy on this platform, you know what I'm saying? He came on here talking about, I voted against Trump. It's like a fuck you to Trump. I voted for Biden to say fuck you to Trump. He don't got drunk off the Kool-Aid that thinking he's sitting in his house like, I sent Trump packing. Like, this how easy it is to confuse black people to vote for their demise. Because at the end of the day, we are a small group that votes maybe 30%, but when 30% votes 98%, that's stupid. And the only reason why Joe Biden is in office is because white people put him in office. The only reason why Obama was president for 8 years is because white people put him in office. Don't get me wrong, black people help. But if white people went by the same mantra of I voted for him because he black, or I voted for him because he white, you would never see a black person in any type of office in America, because they outnumber us. They outnumber us. So at the end of the day, when you have these guys sitting up here talking about somebody racist, that's the same language that they come around talking 2 or 4 years. And you had that older guy, PCH, he was doing good, but then that old Negro spiritual vibe started coming out of him at the end when he started talking about his feelings. You got older black men that's sitting up there peeing on themselves, in the bed, can't even get to the bathroom fast enough, still talking about their feelings. And you got black people because they like the way the Democrat rub them on their head. They like the way the Democrats rub them on their back, smile in their face, and stick their finger in their ass at the same time. So it's just like Malcolm X said about the fox. You know what I'm saying? About the fox. Because that's what they do to black people. And black people do not mind, because black people really do like white people. The only problem that black people have against white people is that white people don't love black people
Them
the
back,
way
yeah,
that black
exactly.
people love white people. If white people love black people, we ain't talking about just giving you a job and being nice to you. Have y'all ever noticed when y'all get from y'all jobs, them supervisors, you see them anywhere other than the job, they don't even know how to have a regular conversation with you. They'll start talking about the job. They'll start talking. You meet one of your supervisors out in the Walmart at a Kroger, and you talk about, hey, and continue the conversation. I guarantee you that white dude, if that conversation lasts more than 5 minutes, I guarantee you it reverts back to the job or employees at the job in some type of way. He ain't gonna ask you how you doing. He ain't gonna ask you about your family. He ain't gonna tell you about whatever drunken bar dance he having. You get what I'm saying? Black people be sitting up there trying to invite him to the cookout. The white dude he ain't inviting you to the hoedown. But you want to invite him to the cookout because you think that a white person showing his face somewhere puts you on the top. All y'all niggas act like friend Steven from Django. You get what I'm saying? Some of y'all are overtly with it, and some of y'all hide in the cut. The only reason why white people know about you claiming other people's kids on your taxes is because black people told it. The only way they know about black people selling their EBT cards is because black people told it. The only way they know which houses it's the trap houses in the neighborhood is because black people tell it. Black people, we are professional sellouts. And I tell you, that shit started in Africa. So don't get me wrong. I'm not with that FBA shit at all, but I understand what they do say about this. How can you ever hold credence to a people that sold you and never came looking for you? And now in the year 2024, even with all these rich billionaires, Nigerians, they're not making it easy. You know what I'm saying? American, I'm just gonna be honest. When you step off that plane in Africa, it is you're on your own. It is TIA.
They got a corruption problem just like we got. In Africa, they got a corruption problem just like we do.
But what I'm saying is that if an immigrant comes to America, it is somewhere they can reach out, some type of community. It's somewhere they can help, some type of social program, somewhere they can help. And if we go to Africa, you're on your own, which is fine, which I don't have no problem with. But I do understand to the point where the levels of reaching out is one-sided. Because don't get me wrong, Africans love when we come over there and open up business and spread wealth in the community, but they don't give a fuck either. You get what I'm saying? So
no, they still have Go ahead, sorry.
But so what I'm saying is that's the difference. That's the only thing that I understand. You know what I'm saying? They don't make it easy. So I get the point where they say, hey, in the 60s, we fought for y'all to be over here. That's fine. But at the end of the day, we still have to compete. So you got most black people that go to Africa, they have that competitive nature anywhere. So they don't care if it's they the only black American in a whole state, you know what I'm saying, Ibano state. They don't care because we sit up and be like, okay, I done went through hell in America, so I'm coming to Africa. Even that Africa's worse, I'm still at peace than I would be in America. And that's where I lose FBA at, because I know for a fact my money goes further over there, and I just can't get no connection to the point where if I go over there, I can keep my business running here. You know what I'm saying? It's just that we don't work together. And I land the plane right there, man. I appreciate you for having me on, Dynas.
Hey, I appreciate you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynas Amir, search for Huru. Peace.